So next slide, please. The internal workshop today is sort of overarchingly moderated by Aitor, Chris, Daniela, and myself. I said this already. Next slide. And what can we expect in the workshop? So we want to really take the opportunity to look back at sort of the challenges encountered in the trainings to supporters and mentors during the first engagement cycle. So this will really be the opportunity for us to look back and to reflect a little bit on what were the challenges and think about potential sort of ways forward, to identify together best practices from partners that could be used in other countries in the next engagement cycle, and to just generally be more and better prepared for the next engagement cycle. Next slide. That's the agenda. Setting the scene, that's what we're doing now. We will have a first engagement cycle challenges pitching session where you will be invited to present the challenges encountered. So 3 minutes by partner. Here I will hand over to Aitor. There will also be used a Miro board in the background, but Aitor will explain that in detail. We will have a summary of the results of that discussion, and after the lunch break, we'll come together again to have a bit more in-depth discussions about finding solutions to those challenges which were identified, keeping in mind also that we had conversations, of course, with many of you in the last weeks regarding sort of also the use of the modules. But this is supposed to be a more general reflection, obviously, on the challenges encountered and solutions forward. We will have the second half of the day with a good sprint on different topics and different focuses, which will be, each of those will be moderated by a different partner. And then we will have a summary and next steps on how to prepare for the next engagement cycle, and we will close at 4. So next slide. And the next slide, actually, because we've just done this. With this, I will actually hand over to Aitor, and we'll jump back in at 12:50.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Arthur. And sorry if my connection is problematic. It has been a bit problematic earlier, so let's see if it does to work well. But as Arthur perfectly explained, now we are in the first part of this internal capacity building workshop. The aim of this first part is to have a time and of pitching, of talking each partner, which have been the main challenges in this first engagement cycle. For that, we have prepared a draft of a Miro board where Chris will be noting down all the notes or the main notes of the challenges, and as you are presenting the challenges and in the presentation mode. So we will go one by one through the pilot partners, and you will present if everybody has the presentations ready. And with nothing else, well, you can also see, you can visualize the Miro board. You cannot edit it, but you can visualize the Miro board in the link. It's above if you're interested. And here mainly we will be watching the presentation of each partner.
Yeah, we lost Aitor again.
So saying that, I will
now he's
leave
back.
the work.
Now he's back.
No?
Aitor, the last 10 seconds, we lost you. No, we're still losing Aitor.
Not yet. Yeah.
No. Okay, but just what Aitor was saying, that the Miro board is going to be available for you to see, but Chris is going to fill it together with us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what happens with this internet connection. It's a pity. But yeah, and so the first partner to present the main challenges with the presentation would be Bulgaria. So the one who is going to be talking from Bulgaria, please raise your hand, activate your microphone, and I have to make you co-host to make the presentation. So I don't know who is going to be the presenter in Bulgaria.
I see. Hi, it's Eleni again. I can see Lily in the here.
Yes.
In the attendees.
Yes.
However, in case you're not ready, we can not you, Eleftheria Lily, the other Lily
Okay.
in Bulgaria. It's okay. We have two.
Yeah, Lily from Sofen, I don't know if she's here, but if no, we can go to another partner.
We can go to another one and come back. Yeah.
We can go to Croatia then.
Croatia. Mm-hmm.
Hello, I didn't prepare a presentation. I just thought that we will pitch up with the problem, but I actually prepared the problem with the main challenge. We actually have a problem in May when we have local elections in Croatia, which, as you know, we have a local office in Zagreb and local office in Osijek. That was the first idea. But in the May, when the local election happens, all the actions, all the negotiation that we have with the local offices, we have start with the departments of the cities, but that all stopped because of the elections. And in Zagreb, we have actually change of the parties because after 20 years of ruling of the one man, we have election of third party. So it was the person who is not from the first two major parties, and after 20 years of doing the same exact way, we actually have a new mayor, and he's from the NGO sector, which actually it's really good because energy poverty now is really primary goal for the new mayor, and we are actually writing a draft program for the city of Zagreb to elevate energy poverty. And he was actually in an EPAH launch because, as the said, he put it energy poverty as one of the primary problem in Zagreb. But in Osijek, where we also have the change of the major, we actually lose this connection, and we need to change the pilot city. So we decide to go to the city of Križevci, where the majors stay the same. So there is not this kind of transition of the power and the change of the people in departments. But also, as the city of Križevci was interesting because we have the connection with energy cooperative there. And we decide to go maybe with this kind of way because they already have mapped the households that could be visited to another organization like Red Cross. So we decide to maybe choose this area, and also it's really close to us. It's like 70 kilometers, while the Osijek is 350 kilometers in one direction. So when you need to go to meeting or something like that, it's really, really long, and to spend one day and like 700 kilometers to just go to the meeting. So this is like the challenges that we have because everything stopped for the few months in Croatia. And when we start doing again these bilateral small meetings, what we want to do, because our idea is to do all our households or through the department of the social welfare of the cities or with the organization like Red Cross. But for the few months, everything stops. So we are now in the motion because after the summer, where all the power was like, they see what they are going to do in their cities, we start negotiation in autumn. So this is what is happening as a main challenge because all 2021 was on the local elections. So this is from Croatia as a main challenge that we have over. I think that we are now over this, but it chooses us to change the local pilot area because of the policy and the local elections.
Okay, thank you very much. And well, I just sent the link to visualize the mural board to the chat, so you can check there. You can see its development. And yeah, so now would be the next country, in this case, Estonia. If Anu is there,
yes,
or who
I can speak. Can you hear me?
Okay, are you? Yep, perfectly.
Great.
Are you going to share the screen or?
Actually, I would speak without slides as well, if it's fine. Okay. So I listed actually 3 challenges. One is similar with Anna-Mari's one, we also had elections in October, and we found that after the elections, some of the staff members in the municipalities and local authorities has changed. And it wasn't a big problem, but somehow needs extra work because we have to introduce the project to the new people and somehow start some negotiations again. But yeah, I felt we had some similar problems. Secondly, of course, the COVID pandemic, it has been really challenged during the implementation process. On one hand, when you want to engage supporters and mentors, and on the other hand, when you want to address energy poor households. So it has been also more time consuming as planned and needs some extra work and extra plans for our team staff as well. And the third one, this is actually feedback from our supporters and mentors. And this challenge comes from the specifics of the housing stock in Estonia, as most of the people are living in multi-apartment buildings. And the management and energy calculations are organized at the apartment association level. Very often these energy poor people don't know this data which is asked in the PowerPoint tools. And it also means extra work for energy supporters and mentors, because in addition to speaking with the households, they have to contact with this apartment association to get the energy consumption data, because these households don't have direct contract with these utilities, but via the associations. So these were the three ones from Estonia.
Thank you, Aida.
Thank you.
And so now would be Greece's turn. I don't know, is Eleni going to talk or someone else from Greece?
Alice will do it.
Yes.
I'll do it. Good. So I have a presentation.
Okay, I will make you
follow
co-host.
strictly Daniela's guidelines that we need to have pictures instead of words. So let me,
Okay,
you need
Alice.
to stop sharing so that I can continue.
You should be able to share on top of it. I don't know, or don't you?
Let me do that now. Can you see the screen?
Yep, we see the editable form.
Super. Let's go from the beginning. So the challenges for Greece. This is challenge number 1, and this concerns the time management during the trainings that we delivered. So we had super packed modules that they needed to be translated in the language and also transform them so that they can be aligned with the national context. And we had so many information in the modules that we needed to work a lot on the time management so as not to make the audience tired, but also to forward the right information. This is challenge number 1. The second challenge is about sending out the messages of what PowerPoint is doing and what are the objectives and the aims of the project in a very proper manner, so that the potential energy supporters and mentors feel that they are part of this project and they can then offer services to their communities in a very efficient manner. The third challenge was actually and remains to motivate the energy supporters and mentors in such a way that they feel part of the PowerPoint community and also understand the meaning and also understand why we're doing the house visits, and to be engaged in such a way, not only for meeting the KPIs that we have, but mainly for understanding the problem of energy poverty and transferring the message to their friends, to their cycle, to their networks in such a way so that people get more aware about the energy poverty momentum and the problem in general. And last, because I have 4 challenges, this is about COVID. This is not a challenge only for Greece, it's for all over the world. But yeah, this is a challenge on how to handle property info days, how to handle properly other activities. Of course, the online trainings were an excellent, let's say, tool, because in comparison with physical events, we had the opportunity to contact and to engage people from all over country. So even though it was not designed, let's say, during the proposal phase to have webinars as the main tool for energy supporters and mentors, that was a good one thing that happened, that because otherwise organizing, let's say, a webinar only in Athens, in Greece, it was difficult to engage people from other parts being 500, say, kilometers away. So even though it was a challenge, it became, let's say, a positive way of engaging people. These are the 4 challenges for Greece. And of course, these are the views from our side. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Evcharisto. All right, and the next partner would be Hungary. I don't know who's going to be talking from Hungary. Saba. Okay.
Yes. Hello,
great.
everyone. I have prepared a short slideshow, but probably it's not necessary to present. It's not that informative. But
yes, Saba, show it.
Yeah.
Show
okay.
It.
You should do it. You must.
Yes.
Okay. Okay then. If it's a must.
Yeah.
So,
now you're a co-host, so you should be able
yeah.
to.
Okay.
We see the editable form.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So the first challenge is with communication with the Hungarian municipalities. It's not an easy thing, even though we have an internal capacity workshops with the municipalities, as I've mentioned before, every 6 months. And what's more, we had some bilateral meetings with municipalities. And when we decided the dates of the trainings, for instance, it was a big surprise that they didn't realize that this is the time of engage municipality staff, sorry, and it turned out that the communication inside of a city is much more complex and complicated than than we expected before. So that's why we had to boost somehow the communication within the municipality. Of course, COVID was a hindering factor, and lack of money, lack of human capacity are big challenges. Because in Hungary, this green department or social department, yeah, let's say a green department is not that common. So it's a new thing to have a dedicated person who dealing with energy or environment related issues. So unfortunately, this is a big challenge. Working with certified energy supporters and mentors it's not that easy too, because the motivation of these people are really different. I mean, when we have the face-to-face meeting with the municipality actors, it turned out that they were forced somehow to took part in our training. So they were persuaded to did, and it was not that motivated. In other trainings, when we gained different kind of persons, it seems that it was more effective because they had an intention to took part in our training. So this is again a challenging factor, this personal motivation, let's say. And And yes, that's why we established the energy poverty support, energy supporter and mentor hub on our Facebook platform. So probably this would be the key to engage certified energy supporters and mentors. And the other issue is the motivation of the students, and because when we engage many students from Alta University, it turned out that they have a motivation to get the credits for taking part in the field survey, but beyond that they lose somehow the way to PowerPool. So that is a huge challenge to make a wide university background of PowerPool in Hungary. It would be a really nice achievement in the next engagement cycle. And one more thing, of course, COVID makes things really difficult. But we had only one physical training, so faceless online trainings make the whole activity less effective. So I'm really hope that it will be a change in a short run. Yes, so that's it.
Thank you very much, Sava. And all right, after Hungary, now is Latvia's turn. Let me know who will be talking from Latvia.
Yeah,
Elvis.
yeah, I will be the one presenting.
Are you going to present?
Will be Elvis. Yes, Elvis has great slides too.
I have some slides, yeah.
Okay, now you're a co-host, so you can share the screen.
Okay, sorry for this. Can you see it properly now? Is it the correct one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, good. Our first challenge is that the first consultations in Latvia are provided to social home inhabitants, and they have limited income, and as well as they live in apartments that they do not own. So the things that we can suggest to them that they can improve are pretty limited. And although they are the persons who need it the most, so this is one of the challenges that we are facing now when we started the consultations. Okay, for the second challenge, we have picture like this, and it's about target group passivity. So energy poor citizens in Latvia typically are the toughest ones to educate. Many of them choose to sit on the couch and complain and not to do anything to improve their situation. Couch philosophers, so to say. So this is one thing that we also are dealing with, and it's pretty hard to motivate these people to do something to improve their situation, but that's why we're here with the PowerPoint. And the third issue, concepts of energy cooperatives and communities in Latvia are unheard of and pretty complex thing to explain, especially to seniors with limited income and who also are not familiar with technologies and probably not interested in long-term investments or cannot afford them. And maybe also not only the seniors, but also some younger people as well who haven't heard about photovoltaic panels or something like that, or who are maybe not interested. It's really hard to explain them the concepts, how it works when some bunch of people can combine their purchasing power to buy the panels. So, and yeah, that's it from our side, and these are the three issues that we face here in Latvia. Thank you.
Thank you, Valdis, Elvis. And all right, and now already Portugal, Spain, and Bulgaria are missing still, or are pending to do. Portugal, Ana Rita or Joao, or who's going to make the presentation?
Well, it will be Ana Rita doing the presentation, and the challenge. Can I share?
Yeah, now you're a co-host, so you can you can share.
Okay. So I don't have, my slides are not so good as yours. Thank you for next time.
All slides are good.
Well, well, well. So my slides, so the first challenge is about our liaison group. And I'm putting here the liaison group because we've been challenging who is in this liaison group with us because we want to take this opportunity to make all these organizations work together beyond the PowerPool project. In Portugal, we don't have this style of working all together. It's always each one working alone. And this is a very good opportunity to put these organizations working together and thinking together in an informal way, if you want, to find solutions to the common problems that we face in Portugal. So I'm really enjoying this moment and this opportunity to be able to talk with all of them. And the second challenge is the training for energy communities mentors. Copernico is the only energy cooperative in Portugal. So in this moment, everyone is looking to us as the organization that can help citizens to organize and to build energy communities in Portugal. Our trainings are being very successful, maybe not so much in numbers, but in results. We are very enthusiastic about the results, but we need to put lots of effort in these trainings to answer all the questions and to make these trainings really applicable in the communities. And the second, and then about the other challenge, the home visits and even the trainings face-to-face, and the energy the energy poverty cabinets. We need to go to the street, and we want to go to the street. And all of this thing about the COVID situations, it avoids us to go to the street, but the PowerPool project, it's really a face-to-face project. And this is the big challenge of the project for us in this situation. But I think 2022 will be a very good year to us. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Narita. Obrigado. And all right, so now it's our turn, Golinar's turn, and then if you're okay, we will leave Bulgaria for the last one. So I will share the screen. And yeah, now you should be seeing my screen. Well, this is the main page. All right, so the first challenge, we have also identified 3 main challenges, even though there are more challenges, more important, less important challenges, but one main challenge has been trainings. Trainings have been very interesting, very motivational for us, and also for learning, but also for partners, for stakeholders, for interested people to learn about the PowerPool project. And so, but there have been some challenges. One have been lack of time or limited time. I think we have been repeating that, but it is that it is, but we have seen a difficult to transmit all the information, all the concepts we want to transmit to these partners, to these participants actually. So, and we are conscious that it has been like established like that, and we have to fit to that. But even though we have received different feedback. That for some people it has been too much information, for other people it has been too less and too few information. So also finding the balance between these different profiles and kind of making successful every participant has been a bit challenging. But otherwise, like in general, it has been very, very positive. And for example, the kind of lack of time also, because of that, we extended the trainings and to a total of 9 hours, like 3 sessions of 3 hours. So that was in recommendation of the partners that mentioned that, okay, take time for resting. And so we also actively took a bit of more time in the trainings to rest people, because if not 2.5 hours or 3 hours for the participants was too much with so much information. So yeah, that was the part of the trainings, to say how. Then the second main challenge has been home visits, or energy poor citizens or vulnerable citizens. Why? One, and because it has been also challenging to identify them, to get them, and then them to be acceptable to make these visits, because of stigma issues, because of other issues. And also related to what Alice mentioned, that sometimes it has been difficult to transmit all the motivations behind PowerPour, to really make them see all the motivations and all the goals of the PowerPour project. And once you get there, you get your goal and you get the motivation from this and households in this case. But however, and so far for us, it has been difficult and to get the entities, the municipalities, the organizations, NGOs, and so to kind of offer this opportunity to make the home visits. So we have some motivated people who has been training and is trained and want to do these visits, but then we get challenges and when we want to get to these homes, because there are no enough homes, and it's difficult to get them. And then last but not least, also related to the home visits and energy poor households, and the municipalities, so stakeholders challenges, mainly municipalities, because we see that municipalities are relevant from the PowerPour project. It is very relevant to involve municipalities in this project. But what have we seen? That from the municipals or local authorities mainly, there is also this lack of interest or lack of preference about the energy poverty. We already know very well that energy poverty has not been a preference for the public, for the local administrations and planning. So we really have to make them to see that it is important, it is a problem. And as we mentioned on Tuesday meeting, it is true that now the situation is getting kind of better for PowerPour because the overall situation is getting worse. So that will help the PowerPour project also to gain more importance or more relevance to this and cities or municipalities. But anyways, and yet it is a bit difficult to get to these municipalities to convince them that this is an interesting project, that they should part and that they should take part. And then even though they are interested, then there is also a problem of lack of time, lack of resources from the municipalities, because here usually social services are the ones that are related to the energy poor households, but they don't have enough time. They have a lot of things to do. So for example, participating in a training and then carrying out the activities that have to be done, they see it like a very heavy thing that I have to do it now, and then like it supposes a lot of work. So that has been also one of the main challenges we have identified. And that's all from our side. So now from Bulgaria, if you're there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for my delay, but now I'm here to share our experience and our challenges. I don't have a presentation, but I will start with the political situation, of course, with the COVID situation in Bulgaria. Unfortunately, this year we had 3 elections for government. The situation is unstable at governmental level. The elections didn't succeed in for establishing a new government. That means that the parties are not so strengthened and they cannot make a coalition. Now the situation is improving. We hope that tomorrow we will have the proposal for the government. That means that all political issues, including the energy poverty issue, they are on standby position. Everybody is waiting for the new government and to be stable and to restart these political issues, not only energy poverty, but energy cost problems and production and in Bulgaria. So there are many problems in this sector, energy efficiency and energy sector. Anyway, we had this meeting with the liaison group, and now we are waiting for this new development for the definition of energy poverty. As I told you, we need this definition for the operational programs and for the plan for resilience and recovery, because these people need special support and attention. And we also have to be clear and to our poor households what is coming, what is the next in terms of financing, what will be the conditions, and what will be the requirements for them in order to apply for the financing for energy efficiency improvement or installation of renewable energy sources. So this is the first challenge. Then, but the liaison group, we have wide participation there from different stakeholders, and I think that it is a good point that we have strong support for this. Regarding the households, yes, we started our visits. We combined them with most of them with the replacement of heating devices. The good thing is that we have access to them. That means together with our activities to see the installations, we have the chance to ask them what is the situation with them, what can be improved, to discuss what are their possibilities, what do they expect from future programs or another support if available. So we have questionnaires filled in and from these visits, and soon we may provide with more information and results from this study actually, which we are doing with the households. For the training sessions, that means for the moment we do not have a problem with energy poor people. Their needs are clear, and yeah, we just consult them for low-cost measures or what they can improve in their homes. With the training sessions, as I told you also Tuesday, we did everything live. That means not online sessions. This was good because we had discussions every time, and we reached the experts face to face and explained better the tools and how to communicate with the households. Yes, the challenge is, of course, the COVID situation in Bulgaria, which is not good, but at least there are some rules that allow us to do these trainings and the capacity building workshops. We exhausted almost the number of mentors and stakeholders which we need, but we will continue these activities in the future next year. With the communication with the municipalities, of course, like in other countries, the first problem is that the municipalities are busy with their own activities. And do not have enough time to communicate with such people that need their support. Fortunately, not only in Sofia municipality, but also in other municipalities, there are such projects for air quality improvement, replacement of devices, heating devices, and they have now in in other municipalities as well, they have a team of experts to support this process, to consult the households for how to heat their homes. And our effort is to contact them and to include also the knowledge and the tools available in PowerPool project to be used as additional consultations and additional advice for the households. It's really a challenge because the work is enough for them for the other projects, but actually they are also
It seems that I'm not the only one with connection problems.
Yeah, we have Zdravko freeze. It's freeze now.
Mm-hmm. Connection poverty.
Yes.
I missed what was the main challenge he said towards the end, and that's actually the main challenge, but I didn't get that.
Yeah, me neither. So I think that Zdravko will come back, so we can wait, and we can continue. I thought I don't know. No, Stravo, you're back.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
When you said the main challenges, you froze.
with the municipality, probably. I just finished with the municipalities, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, I will repeat for the municipalities. The municipalities, they have enough activities, enough work, but they are happy if they could widen their expertise and they could advise also households for the energy cost, the situation with the heating, how to do the heating or for other purposes. So the experts from municipalities that participated in the trainings, they were happy to learn more about this, the tools, PowerPoint tools, and what else, the other information that they could provide to the households. So from one side, this is a challenge, but once we get them on board, they are very happy with this new role and new possibility to use this PowerPool project. So yeah, the challenge is to win them, to attract them to this project, and after that, it's no problem. So I think that's for the energy poverty offices. We work with Plovdiv energy agencies and energy agency, and they do their work very well also for another projects and for the city of Plovdiv.
Yeah, I guess it's all with that. It's enough, maybe, or
yes, Ravo, you only had 3 minutes.
yeah. Well, just 3 minutes.
No, it is so fun.
Yeah.
Sorry for
No,
that.
I'm just joking. Thanks for sharing all the insights. No, don't worry, we are just joking. Thanks for
Okay.
your
Just
contribution.
then let me know. You wanted, Eleni, at least wanted to share with the mapping of stake of visited homes how it is done. It's easy, but if I don't have time or join,
Shall
in the
we?
next slot. You'll do it in the next slot.
Yes, in the
In
next,
the overcoming challenges.
in overcoming the challenges.
Show us how to do it, please.
The solution.
Yeah, maybe if any other partner wants to add something to what just Strako was and finishing the energy poverty offices, because there haven't been too much mentions about that. If any partner has any challenges with has had any challenges with the energy poverty offices, and it will be very welcome. I can mention just in our case that, for example, it is very much related to the municipalities, to the motivation for municipalities, of course. So yeah, it has been difficult to make them to see that it is important to tackle energy poverty, so that energy poverty offices also are a very important part of this tackling energy poverty. But as always, it is not a preference for them. They have other things.
Yeah, now we lost Aitor.
What's wrong today?
Aitor was repeating that they were having other priorities, and yeah, so that's related to the challenge that was already identified.
To give to their manual budget. So
okay,
I'm back, I think.
No, you're back.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Chris. Yeah, so I don't know, should we, if there is any other partner who wants to add something? If not, we can leave Arthur to make a recap of this session, the main challenges, a resume, and next steps. Arthur.
Okay, thank you very much, Aitor. And thanks very much to all of you and Chris for taking excellent notes on the Miro. Perhaps, Aitor, could you share your screen with the Miro so that we can take a look?
Yeah. I have it here. I have to share it now.
Chris is the official PowerPool team member, getting the notes from important discussions. Amazing, Chris, amazing.
Just a brief question. I did not write this note, the one that says no information on energy bills, and I think it's you did it. I think
did
it's related
in the
to
beginning, but then I saw that you were doing it
I see.
perfect, so my contribution was minimal.
And you put it in yellow as if it were Greece, but I think it's related to Estonia, right?
Yes, it's true. It was Estonia. Yeah. So.
Okay, I'll change the color. I hope I can do that. Right.
So I guess you can see now the board.
Yes. Fine. So yeah, let me just quickly recap then, and we'll be looking at this mirror board and the in-depth notes in a moment, and just quickly recapping the general trends that we see. I mean, obviously we've come very far already to some extent, and in terms of challenges, there are certain overlaps. You will all have noticed that there are certain challenges that are applicable to the different contexts. So, you know, the changes in context and political context and framework and elections has definitely an impact on how we're able to work together with municipalities, but also how to engage stakeholders. There's COVID. I mean, that goes without saying, really, that, you know, physical meetings are generally very much preferred. However, I mean, that was one example, at least, of where it was actually positive that we were able to have online meetings to engage a larger audience on a national basis, national level. That was very interesting. Then I think something else that's sort of cross-cutting is this issue of, you know, access to data and sort of engagement of energy poor people who will live in apartments which they don't really own. So everything has to go by apartment associations. And how do you also engage those people? I think that's sort of a cross-cutting issue in general. Communication is a huge issue. So how do you engage not only with energy poor people, but also how do we communicate the message and the essence of Power Poor to municipalities and to other stakeholders that we engage with, that connects to motivation? How do we motivate different kinds of people that we have to work with? Also, of course, students were mentioned and younger people. Then very much another factor is the internal communication with different stakeholders, but specifically internal communications within cities also. That is something sometimes difficult to get them on board, but they were also very much aware that it's, you know, sometimes difficult for cities to have an effective communication internally on this topic. Very interesting, also a cross-cutting issue was the aspect of co-creation. So that's really something that Power Poor brings to the table here, connecting stakeholders who might, without Power Poor, sometimes not really have the opportunity to talk to each other or do not talk to each other too much in the first place. So it's really using the opportunity here to make that co-creation even stronger. And how do we deal with a lack of interest, really, and then lack of motivation? So how do we motivate people? Looking specifically at the Miro now, quickly here, so on the trainings, I mean, we've seen that time management during training, very much important that's to manage. We have a lot of information in the modules, which needs to be communicated and chosen in the most effective way. COVID I already mentioned. We have to make the trainings applicable to communities as much as possible. We face limited time, and we have to be effective here. Having said that, you know, online meetings had their advantages and disadvantages. With regard to engaging supporters and mentors, I already mentioned the conveying of what makes Power Poor message unique. And how do we manage to keep up the motivation, and how do we keep people engaged over a longer period of time? Also, there was mention of using, you know, social media to facilitate a larger involvement of people. I already mentioned the co-creation part and getting stakeholders to work together. Motivation, I mentioned this a couple of times now. Yes, how do we keep on providing strong support? In terms of home visits, I already mentioned the access to data on energy bills and associations. How do we facilitate and motivate people to act who might not want to do that? So the explanation was done given on people who might be facing energy poverty, but who might not be very keen in the first place to actually do something about this, but how do we engage them then? And essentially, how do we take them on board here? There was the issue of stigmatization, obviously, that needs to be taken into account. So it's a matter of communicating in a sort of inclusive way. Perhaps before going to energy poverty, because that was offices, that was very much connected to how do we engage cities. I mentioned already elections and internal communication within departments. Sometimes people in the cities think it, you know, are, if not forced, then at least not super keen necessarily to attend meetings, and this is something that we most likely have to work on as to make it the content of these trainings as efficient as possible. Yes, and I already mentioned the political changes. And obviously, this is all very much connected to this setup of energy poverty offices. And the setting up of and assigning of relevant budgets. And I think this is something that we will definitely come back to in the later half of today's session. So all of these things, which Chris has diligently made notes here in the different topics, we will revisit in the second half of the agenda. Specifically, we will have a lunch break now until 1:30. Following that, we will have a second part of the event where we will actually talk about how to overcome these challenges. How do we find solutions to this? And we will specifically zoom into each of these topics that you now see on the Miro board on screen. And I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm sure that's going to be a very interactive and very detail-rich discussion. So I think if there's no remark by anyone, we can have a coffee/lunch break until 1:30 and reconvene, well, at 1:30.
Perfect. Thanks. See you later.
Thank you.
Yeah. Enjoy your lunch.
Enjoy your lunch. Thank you.
Guten Appetit.
All right, perfect. So welcome back, everyone. I hope that you had a very nice lunch break. Let's get straight into the second half of the event. Aita, could you perhaps share the agenda again on the screen? Yes. Looking at the current agenda, so we have now the first part of the day was, or of the event was focused on finding challenges across and overarching challenges that we all deal with, categorized in different topics, as we have seen on the Miro board. And now we'd like to take the opportunity to dive more into each of these topics respectively, and to focus on how to overcome these challenges in the next engagement cycle and finding solutions to those challenges. The way this will work is that we will go through each topic after the other, and each of these will be moderated by a different partner. So I think without further ado, we can go indeed to the first topic, which was sharing energy poverty concept easily. And here I would hand over to Zrea. So Inga, would I hand this to you?
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it will be me and Elvis both moderating this session, and so we will try to share energy poverty concepts, to share experiences and what are solutions and how you are doing this in different countries. And maybe Elvis will tell at the beginning how we are seeing, and that is what is our experience. And maybe then we could make a small circle and each partner could share his best solutions.
Okay, so can I start? Yes. Okay, so here in Latvia, we have found out that it's the best way to handle this is to divide it in two parts, and sharing energy poverty concepts in the first part with the supporters and mentors, and on the second part, how do you share this concept with the citizens? Because we find out that the two different approaches has to be taken. On the first part, how do you share the concept with supporters and mentors? The best way as we see to share it is to educate the mentors on definitions. And on the first module, actually, the definitions, key factors, videos, and poverty effects from energy poverty observatory has been proven to be very useful in educating mentors and supporters in energy poverty. On the other hand, when we educate citizens in energy poverty, different approach has to be taken, since it might be a sensitive subject for some of them. And by any means, we do not want to offend anyone. So the most important thing, as we see it on sharing this energy poverty concept to citizens, is do not mention poverty, and do not mention word poor, because no one wants to be labeled as poor. So we definitely try to avoid it, and we also teach this to our mentors when they approach the citizens to be kind of sensitive on this subject. Also, explain that anyone can be affected without even realizing it. Explain how much is okay to spend on energy needs. For example, try to kind of ease into this subject. If the person is spending more than 10%, some actions definitely should be taken. And if they spend less than 10%, some actions can still be taken, because there is always room for improvements. So try to ease into the subject without mentioning poor. Explain that there are a lot of things that can be done to improve their situation. And here in Latvia, we quite often come across some people who think that bills are what they are and they cannot change it. But that's why we are here. We want to change this mindset. And also it helps if you are using some empathy when you're sharing this concept. For example, share some personal experience on your situation, creating trust and showing that you are here to help them. And try really easily when you're talking to general public. It helps us a lot, and people are more open to listen to our information, and they don't get offended, or they don't get very into themselves and don't start to worry, because our main goal is to help them. And yeah, on my part, that's about it. Maybe Inga, do you want to take over?
Yes, thank you, Elvis. Yeah, that is our approach, how we use it, because we have different approach for mentors when we want to share this concept, and different approach for energy poor citizens. And it would be nice to hear other partners' experience and maybe solutions. How, what is your way? How do you find this sharing this concept the most easy way? And maybe I could start with pilot partners, maybe Energia Club. Could you, maybe we could, every one of us could use some 2 minutes, and then we will try to wrap up. Is anyone from Energia Club here who could maybe?
Or maybe anyone else who has like a good suggestion that they want to share, how they deal with this situation?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Energy hub, please.
So communication is always a crucial part, and energy poverty is not that the definition of energy poverty or this phenomenon is not that common in Hungary. So it's really challenging when we make home visits and try to gain information about income and energy costs. And at the end of the visit, we should say something, but not that you are energy poor. But here in Hungary, many people are suffering from energy poverty, of course, and low wages, low salary. So when we start discussion with these people, it turned out that this topic is not that sensitive because it's part of their daily life, and if we show empathic way to them is the easiest way to communicate this situation, the definition, and raising their awareness about energy poverty. So it's a complex issue here in Hungary, and I'm sure that in the next few years it's getting more and more well known, and the poor probably will lead the way how to do so.
Okay, thank you. Very good feedback, because I totally agree. When this issue and this concept of energy poverty becomes more popular, then people will have easier time talking about it.
Yeah, indeed.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah. Thank you, Sava. And maybe Anna-Rita was next one. Yeah. What's your experience to share?
Hi, everyone. First of all, I'm still co-hosting. Maybe you can take me out of that function. Thank you. I just want to comment something about the 10% of expenses on energy related with the income, because in Portugal we always have this problem that as families don't heat the homes at all because they don't have the money to do it. They never exceed the 10%. So we have to communicate, we have to tackle this problem as a way to improve the home, the heating, the comfortable feeling of the family in house, and not so much about to decrease the energy invoice, because it will not decrease because they don't heat the house. And we cannot ask to the people to heat the house if they don't have money to be more comfortable at home. So it's really a tricky question, how to tackle this issue to the families, to the real poor families. Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree. We have the same problem, really. How can you ask them to heat more if they can't afford it? Thank you very much. Maybe the next is someone from DOR, Croatia, would like to share experience?
Yes, actually, I was just talking that with a few partners from other projects, we talk about that. This is what they are talk about if you don't heat the home, actually. So you have the poor households that actually doesn't exceed this 10% because it doesn't have the baseline of what is the kilowatt, let's say kilowatt hour per square meters is comfortable for the living, because these people actually doesn't spend enough energy. And if you are trying to help them, actually you are not gaining this this part of the savings energy, because actually you will probably raise their energy consumption, because we doesn't know what is the baseline for the good quality life in spending energy. Do you understand the concept of the idea? Because if you don't heat the home, if you want to get them home, they will spend more actually energy. So how will gain actually the idea of the idea of less consumption, saving in CO2, if the people are, I don't know, maybe Mediterranean, they have problem with cooling their home. In continents, they have the warming their home, or I don't know if they are using the stove on the wood for heating, for I don't know, for making their meals. If you change them with electrical and put photovoltaic, then you are probably involving more energy for the consumption of the house. So we don't know what is the baseline. We don't know what is the baseline for quality of life to spend energy.
Yes, I totally understand that, and it's completely true. As here in Latvia, since we have like a colder climate, and actually it's snowing outside now, the main thing that we want to do, and we want to suggest people some energy efficient measures, for example, insulating their house and putting better windows in if they can afford it, of course. This way they heat the same amount, but since the building is much more efficient, they have greater comfort in terms of heat. So the energy consumption stays the same, but the comfort increases. That's at least how we do it here in Latvia, because we have this colder climate.
Yeah, the baseline is not to reduce comfort, because nobody wants to go back to live in cave in dark and coldness. That's but how can we save energy keeping the comfort? Okay, I see that Alice Coraversi, please. You have raised hand.
Yes, I have raised my hand. Actually, to my experience is that we should not beautify words, and it's not bad to use the term energy poverty, because this is something that exists and it is increasing. It's not increasing only in the cold countries, but it's increasing mostly also in the south countries. Greece is among the top 3, I think, countries that is facing energy poverty in a very high percentage of households. In any case, without beautifications and without adding nice words to energy poverty, since there are definitions, and since Greece also has a definition about energy poverty, we should talk directly to the households and explain them that this is not a problem that is connected to only to poverty, the real poverty, but it's connected also to households that have probably the ability to pay, but because of the conditions of the houses or because they have other priorities at the time being, probably they are in the loop of being energy poor. So they need to find out solutions, not considering only that the solutions are soft measures, if those can be applied, but there are other solutions that can probably take advantage and minimize this phenomenon. So my suggestion is to talk directly about energy poverty and not trying to beautify words and minimizing in some way the existence of this problem.
Thank you, Alice. That means that firstly we have to maybe define the problem and then really work on it.
Thank you. Of course, if we explain the differences between poverty and then energy poverty, yes, then of course it's better always to use the direct terms. I agree.
Can I add something? This is Daniela from Iglesia. So just to let you know that when we were discussing in the Covenant of Mayors the indicators for assessing the energy poverty, it was always mentioned, even from the Covenant participants and people in this workshop, that using energy poverty, saying that people energy poor is something that generates a little of reluctance from people. So they were saying that probably the alternative is like talking about citizens or people facing energy poverty episodes. So that's how they decided to communicate it better. I think I raised this issue early in the beginning of Power Poor. So just probably, of course, as Elvis was saying, show some empathy when we are talking to the people and not being so tough. I think that is correct. But I agree also with Alice that we cannot close our eyes to the problem. So, but I think that we can find a balance.
Yeah, the balance maybe is the key word here. Yeah, thank you, Daniela. And I see that Anu Sarnet, please, you have raised hand. Please go.
I wanted to add that actually when we speak about the concept of energy poverty, you have to take into account what is the current understanding at the national level. For example, in Estonia, there really isn't the final consensus what is energy poverty, because according to Estonian legislation, energy poverty is directly connected with real poverty. And it actually sets the tone of the discussion, which means that in Estonia, when it's possible, we usually use we speak about people in the risk of energy poverty, for example, not telling energy poor citizen, because in Estonian language, it sounds really bad. And in fact, affects something that you need help daily basis. And that's why we have to take into account what is the situation and how the translation sounds in different languages. And in Estonia, yes, we are still creating connection between the social policy and energy policy when I speak about energy poverty, because in national level in legislation, this is still a social problem, not energy problem. Thanks.
Yes, thank you. Actually, in Latvia, we have the same. It's directly, the legislation is directly connected with the poor people, actually. The ones who are seeking aid because they're not earning enough money, they are also kind of in the part of definition of energy poverty in Latvia. Yeah, so we have pretty similar situation. Thank you, Anu.
Yeah, and please, Alice, did you want to reply?
Yeah, just an addition. There is a difference when we talk about energy poverty, and there is a difference when we are saying that your household is energy poor. So we need to separate these two. It is okay to talk with people and explaining what energy poverty is. And while talking specifically for the household, we need to be careful. And the words we're using should be like, let's see if you are close to the problem. So when I was talking about the beautifications of the words and everything, it was about minimizing or highlighting the energy poverty as a problem, not directly appointing people as energy poor. So it's better to appoint and say, let's see if your household is close to the problem, or if there are, let's say, tools or I don't know, tools to minimize probably being close to that. And it's totally different about explaining what the phenomenon is and how it is increasing in Europe, but in other countries, in other regions as well.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you very much. And please, Lily, I can see that the raised hand. What is your experience and solutions for this?
Hi, hello, sorry. Earlier I couldn't unmute my microphone. I'm sorry about that. So I just wanted to add to this that what we experience in Bulgaria as with visiting energy poor households is that they are not all economically poor. So we can't really talk about poverty there, but these are people who, for example, believe that heating their houses with wood, with burning wood, old style wood burning stoves is ecological and healthy, and they've done it for, I don't know, thousands of years. So it is okay. And our challenge is to explain to them that it would be, they will breathe better air, and they will live a healthier life, and they will have more comfortable homes if they replace these old style heating machines, heating devices, with more modern equipment. And then we face another problem, as I'm not sure who mentioned that, is when you replace an old wood burning device, which clearly doesn't provide a modern standard of heating, with say gas heating boiler, then the expenses that the family has to face might turn them into energy poor, although earlier they weren't. So it is really a matter of balance and fine-tuning of what to advise, because of course gas is will provide more comfort in the house, but for what price? And often here what the municipalities are doing, they're replacing old wood burning heaters with heaters on pellets, which is a more effective way of heating, but it's still not electricity, not gas, because this is just unaffordable, and it will force people into not heating their homes, because their bill suddenly will be too high, like 2-3 times higher than what they used to pay. And another thing, now I'm
interrupt you for a second. Sorry, yeah. Lee, we have to look at the time a little bit for the next session. Perhaps we can come back to your point in the next one of the next sessions, and perhaps Inga, could you wrap up this in 1-2 sentences, and then we have to go to the next topic.
Okay, that's fine. That's all what I want to say.
Yeah. Thank you, Lily, very much, because really there is lots of points which we have to still address in the coming points. And Elvis, are you here?
Yeah.
Would you like to wrap up with some things?
Actually, yeah, the thing that we are actually running out of the time so quickly, and so many opinions yet to be heard, points out that this is actually a really interesting topic, and maybe we should definitely sometime soon again talk about it. But yeah, to quickly wrap up, I guess the main things are to find the balance between how you tell everything and to whom you communicate this issue of it. And yeah, a lot of good inputs from everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you so much to both of you and everybody who just spoke. I think, I mean, obviously, a lot of the topics are somehow interrelated, so I'm sure we will find connections going forward. So on the next session then, engaging any supporters and mentors, I look forward to handing to Carsten to guide us through that. Carsten, are you there?
Yes, thank you very much, Arthur, indeed. And maybe just to add, again, from the perspective and discussions which I had until now, also here in Germany, for instance, that the concept of energy poverty, I guess it's a term that is labeled quite coming from above, or labeled from the scientific perspective, but it is then, of course, very sensitive in and individual even to use that concept of a vulnerable approach, vulnerable people that we think by definition are energy poor, confront them with solutions which they may like to take, but in the first place they don't think they are the right addressee. Anyways, we have discussed also that aspect quite a lot, but I think that is also connecting to the next session, which is indeed focusing on the mentors and the energy supporters. So here, I think looking at the mirror board, which was a wonderful exercise, I found we have here, just to recap, we had elements concerning this discussion point that more time is actually invested, had to be invested to recruit energy supporters and mentors, as well as to potentially maintaining their commitment. Also here, maybe we were at the first time more, of course, wanting to recruit people to bring on board. And actually, we have been very successful with 500 people already recruited. Still, there is 600 to come, but generally the feeling was we are on a good way. But still, we, I think, need to recognize the fact that also those that we have recruited, we should not left behind because they signed, but actually build on them and maybe use them as much as possible to move forward. So these are maybe also reflections which we can discuss quickly. Then I saw that municipality representatives were less able to engage, or at least there was a low engagement. The question is maybe why, because they have so many other duties, or maybe there are other points which you like to highlight in your discussion. And then I noted that group work, and that relates actually to the aim also of this group, which shall be a network. And here maybe the question of how can we ensure that it is a network within the country that benefits all participants, but potentially also on a European scale, that we are able to build a strong network where each participant sees the value of it and is able to connect and feed into interests and get back the needs that he or she is looking at. And last but not least, there's also an interesting element concerning students and credits, receiving credits. And I think that points us just to look at these stakeholders, but more in generally, what is the intrinsic interest of the participants, and how can we build on that, ensuring that in the recruitment, but also then in the maintenance of the network. So I try to tease a little bit some aspects, and I'm looking forward to comments from you. Maybe putting Dor on the spot as they are leading the establishment of this very network. So maybe they would like to comment first. Yes. Thank you.
So we actually didn't recruit any of the supporter mentors yet, because we choose other path that we want to gain the already mapped area, and that mapped area can go from the local offices of I don't know, social welfare, so they know because they have like other policy, like in Croatia, if you have a problem with paying your bills, you get this guaranteed minimum help of, I think about less than 300 euros, and you come to this office with bill that is most expensive for you that month, and they will pay for you, but you must some criteria, you must be part of the social welfare care system, and then you go to the office. So they already have mapped the homes that are potentially energy poor households. So the idea is through the city of Zagreb to educate the local authorities that work in that office, and all the supporters and mentors come from their offices. In the city of Križevci, we gather another idea. So for the engaging supporters and mentors, we actually contact Red Cross of Križevci, and they employed through their project 45 women that are previously unemployed, and they are working each week. They need to visit 6 homes that they were target with elderly people. They are probably solitary elderly people, and they are bringing them medicine, they talk with them, and so on. And we are hoping that they know them, that probably they will be more open to them to talk about, especially in the power actor target. We have this part when we ask them, how much is your income? So if you know the people who is making questionnaire, they will be easier to open to answer to the question.
Yes,
So-
and maybe just to say that is exactly the point. So you're actually using people that are paid to do this job, but to deal with energy poverty and
Yeah.
with power poor, you're giving them additional tools if they want to, and discuss
Yes,
how can they be integrated. And I think that point we can take, and maybe somebody else would like to also emphasize this, or tell a different strategy that that we can use.
Yes, because as I said, by engaging these energy supporters, mentors, these 45 women that we are targeting in the city of Križevci, for example, they are also coming from the homes that are probably maybe energy poor households, because before that they were maybe depending only on one paycheck because they were unemployed, and now they have and I have this job, but it's also only for I don't know, maybe 1 year. So after that, they are also in the problem for paying their own bills because they will probably be without job. So it's kind of idea that also these energy supporters and mentors try to help themselves. So it's for them also.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Eleni was first. Eleni.
Yeah, just real quickly, I'm just going to go ahead and say that for engaging the energy supporters and mentors, I know that each country has kind of its own tricks to do so, but here what we did was like partner with the energy community, an already established one. So they started the community and they already were familiar with the concept of energy poverty. So they were glad to find the project in the process. So that worked out fine. So the thing is, they were already motivated, they found us, and they found another means of tackling energy poverty. So this is another maybe strategy, to find out someone that is already working in the field, approach them, and move there. So one of our mostly motivated energy supporters comes from this concept. That's the sharing.
Thank you, Eleni. Now to Angelos.
Hello to everybody. I would like to share an example of a municipality that we are discussing of engaging energy supporters and energy mentors. We tried to create the energy supporters and mentors in the social welfare services of municipality, and they were really energetic on that. They really want to be engaged, but they are having problems with a full-time job within the municipality, and we are striving on them. They have been engaged as mentors, but we're really striving to pressure them and do home visits. We cannot find motivation on engage them more.
So here, the pointing out the fact indeed that municipal staff have in often cases different duties, different mandates, and some are more leaning towards nice to have, and others are must-haves. And so here in that field, always dependent and differentiated, we are playing with our arguments. So over to Alice. You also raised your hand.
Yeah, that's true. I raised my hand. So we followed a different approach, and the approach was to connect with people that they are already in contact with households. Yesterday, during the country presentation, I remember a comment, I think that it was from Chris, how come so many engineers as energy supporters and mentors in the trainings that we organized? And this is because we have contacts with technical chambers. So we thought that that was a good idea when they are organizing already energy audits because of the energy performance certificates. It's a good idea to combine probably also the use of the power pool tools. The next one is we connected with initiatives that they have a track record in mitigating energy poverty, or they are somehow connected to households. So we connected with the Heinrich Institute, which is also a member of the liaison group here in Greece, and they disseminated the information. So we had applications from them. And other initiatives like energy communities or other associations. So this is the proper way to engage them for us. I'm not saying that this is the proper way for everyone. At the other, when we were sending the invitations, we were trying to have a very clear message what the project is about, that this is a voluntary job coming in, so as to avoid explaining why they are doing that. So when receiving the requests, we know that we were talking with people that they would like to offer to the community, to offer something that probably will enhance their capacity or their technical skills somehow, or they are going to enter in a domain that probably they are aware, but they don't know many things. So when communicating the trainings and when communicating the energy supporters and mentors scheme within the frame of the Power Pool, we try to be very, very clear when describing why, how, and what time you will allocate in such activities.
Okay, thank you very much. Very helpful indeed. The clear message. What can that attendee, that supporter, that mentor get out of it? And even the time is sometimes quite crucial to mention very clearly. Over to Anu.
Yes, in Estonia, as we defined energy poverty problem in this project as a problem of multi-apartment buildings in Estonia, we decided to focus in the engagement cycle to the members of housing co-ops and apartment associations, which means we wanted to find people who are already members in the same community, so they can get easily contact with the households we want to target and so on. So we used different networks available already in Estonia, which connect housing co-ops and apartment associations. And we also asked help from the communication teams from our pilot cities, and they also spread the information because they have these information lists and networks as well. So our experiences have been very positive so far. People are more motivated and they understand that actually with this knowledge they can help their neighbor or neighborhood families. So yeah, we have been focused on housing co-ops and apartment associations.
Thank you. Yet another group, and good to hear, and also to see that indeed also those have quite regular meetings, and maybe here the opportunity to use these regular meetings to present, to take part, and then also to explore the possibility of energy poverty alleviation. We are just about to kick enter into the second engagement cycle in February, if I'm not mistaken, next year. So my question and last question, if I look at the time, to you as a country leader, how optimistic are you now in engaging even further, mentors and supporters? Despite the fact that we have some challenges, but we also have some solutions, which we have heard now. So very optimistic, or not optimistic at all. I would invite you to chat your optimism or pessimism, maybe, because it might be also quite important to understand if we have taken the low-hanging fruits, existing contacts which each other use, or is there really more potential to come? I think we are on a good way with 500, but that might also give us clarity on how to move ahead and how persistent we need to be. So I'm inviting you to respond to that question via chat, and give Alice once again the word, if that is not an old hand.
Oh, no, it's not a long hand, but I can write my opinion on the chat if this is the case. or I can say it.
Well, you have the pleasure to orally express it. Please go ahead.
So we are following the same process. The good thing is that we are keeping communication with the energy supporters and mentors, the ones that we already have. We have already organized two catch-up meetings, one after the first trainings during summer, and one just, let's say, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we also ask the supporters and mentors to promote the new trainings that we are organizing. The next one is in a few days, in 2 weeks from now, to invite also their friends, colleagues, network. But again, we are following the same process. Again, sending invitations to technical chambers, organizations, citizens organizations, and everything. And more, we are now targeting also other energy communities, because we would like to enhance the network that has been established in Greece. In any case, we are optimistic that we will achieve not only the KPI, the target, but we will have more supporters than the one allocated in our organization.
Great, thank you, Alice. And actually, I see here that also Goya is sharing that optimism. That's good to hear. But please feel free to use further the chat function to move ahead. I think I would suggest to move on, Arthur, if you agree. Otherwise, we may not be in time.
I do agree. Thank you very much, Carsten. Yeah, so we've talked a little bit also already on, actually quite often already, on the current engagement process with cities. Because obviously it's very connected to the other topics that we talked about. So I think this is a good point now to actually go to the next session. And here I would like to invite, I think it's Angelos, engaging cities in the process. Can I hand you the microphone?
Okay, thank you. Actually, from my point of view and from Sustainable City, I would like to say that we have been discussing with municipalities on being engaging in the process generally. Generally, municipalities didn't know what is energy poverty. Only one municipality had in their setup the energy poverty policy to be discussed over. Generally, in their setup, many municipalities not even have setups already done. But all of municipalities that we have been discussing want to find funding tools, and power pool and generally energy poverty, it can be a funding tool. So this was the main problem on engaging cities. On our info day that we have done in the first poverty elevation office that we have created in Messini, we had also the question about what will exactly the household earn in that point of view from power pool and from being engaged. And the cool was that people from municipality and the energy mentors took actually answered that question. I would like also to ask the plenary about what was your problems in engaging cities in the process. Is can anyone share also?
I can start, maybe repeating myself what I have already mentioned more or less, but the difficulty is to engage municipalities when, because of their lack of interest in energy poverty or tackling energy poverty. But as you mentioned, like firstly, actually lack of information of what is energy poverty, or even is it a problem or not. But even though some municipalities that have been interested in addressing energy poverty, then they already have the barrier of, okay, lack of time, lack of resources. There's no one, no people in the municipality who could lead the kind of actions against energy poverty, because in some municipalities maybe the environmental technicians take this issue, and then in the other social services take this issue, but there is no, and in general in many of the municipalities there is no even a person who is responsible for energy related topics. So it is even more difficult to engage them in energy poverty because they don't have any skilled people there. And even though we have been like providing or offering this opportunity to get these skills, to get this training and to get more informed about energy poverty, then there's this barrier of lack of time, and all the workers, all the people in the municipalities who are working there, and it is not a preference for them because they see other problems that are more relevant at the time. So, and this difficulty to make them see the importance of tackling energy poverty.
Thank you. I would like also to say that the barriers and challenges that have been discussed over the municipality was first to understand the energy policy, the energy poverty, and after that to make policies over energy poverty, and from the above view to be able to find some funding in order to find solutions on the internal problems of the municipalities of lack of funding. This was one of many of examples that we have been discussing over the municipalities. Moreover, the habitants have the point of view of how to earn or how to become members of to be established as energy poor, because mainly of the increasing energy prices over Europe. And we have been asked to promote or to find solutions, not only in power poor general opinion, but more on energy poverty and how we can help them find fundings, helping the municipality or the energy poverty alleviation offices, which are within the municipalities. Yes, Alice, I can see.
Yes, my hand. I will speak a little bit of the title of this session, Overcoming Challenges and Finding Solutions. Even though we are, as an organization, we're not very much experienced in engaging with municipalities, even though we are working with some of them. The concept behind finding solutions is to prepare a very well managed plan and describe what energy poverty is and why municipalities should be engaged and support the citizens in the municipalities. This is the first challenge that needs a solution, because sometimes, the municipalities mainly stick to the technical part to fix out the roads, to fix out the lighting in the roads, and to fix whatever other technical things are. And of course, this depends on the country. The majority do not understand how they can be engaged in a social problem which is totally different from household to household, and if they have the ability to contribute in finding solutions. So first, the municipalities need to understand exactly what energy poverty is. I hear some background noise. I hope it's not from my side. They need to understand that. They need to understand why the health and well-being of the citizens is part of the social policy of the municipality. And then we can sit together with them as Power Pool project members to support them with ideas and solutions, of course, using the Power Pool tools. One of them is the establishment of the energy poverty offices, and work with them hand by hand and support them. My personal goal here at INZEP is not to engage, let's say, 100 municipalities just by presenting the concept of energy poverty, and that needs to be mitigated at the municipality level. But it's better to work with specific municipalities hand by hand and overcome, let's say, any challenges that the municipality has, especially when they need to understand the social connection between municipality and the citizens, and especially when, again, we are talking about a very sensitive issue, which is totally different from household to household.
Thank you all for sharing. Anna-Marie, want to share?
Hello again. So do you remember when I talked earlier of the challenges that I said that in Croatia we need to give up one pilot area? The reason that is we do it because it's funny thing, because in 2020 DOR actually made SECAP for the city of Osijek when we implemented 2 measures for the energy poverty. So in Croatia we have 3 SECAPs. One is the city of Osijek that we gave up as a pilot area, and we put 2 measures, and one measure is to open a local energy office for elevation energy poverty. It's PowerPool project, and we came to them and said, like, look, you have it in SECAP and we have Power project. It's like we made it for you in the SECAP, and as though we have a Power project, are you interested? But they have the change of the local governance and everything is like stopped and they were not interested. And then you go to the another local municipalities, another city who has actually good background of some other projects and other examples, and they were interesting because they saw what project can do for them, like city of Križevci that actually changed the area of city of Osijek. We changed the area, the pilot city. They have these 2 great crowdfunding campaign in Croatia, because we have only like maybe 3 in sector of energy, and they have 2 in their cities, and they engaged citizens to invest in PV system. So when we came with the PowerPool project, they were more interested than the city of Osijek that has any good example before the PowerPool project. So maybe when you are like looking and engaging citizens, yeah, it's good to go to the city that has anything, because probably they have maybe more problems, but also the cities that also have the problem but have good project before that have a really good background to go to the authorities, to the local authorities in the departments, and they are as a city more interested in the project.
Thank you, Marie. Yes, exactly. We tried to discuss with the municipality that already had some point of view on energy poverty policies and already have a SECAP. This was Messini. And we are trying also to promote not only powerful, but also energy poverty policies in other municipalities that are being engaged and also working on their SECAP. Daniela?
Yes, thank you very much, Angelo. Just to complement from the ICLEI side, and also based on the experience that we have had with different local governments that we've been working as a city network. So I think that for this issue specifically of energy poverty, we have to also to understand the processes that cities develop when they are planning different sustainable energy actions, okay? And now we know that with the new pillar of the Covenant of Mayors, and for the cities that have to update or develop the CCAP, energy poverty has to be transformed into a tangible project, okay? And from an operational perspective, that is what we call the energy poverty alleviation actions that are part of the CCAP. So just to understand that this is a part of the work that we have to do as PowerPool to share the information with the municipalities, that in order to how can I say, to help them in increasing their impact, this has to be part of the planning processes that they have. In this case is the CCAP. I think that we all understand everything, but there are some cities that also do not have a CCAP, so they don't know how to start. This is something that during the interviews we saw. But what I just wanted to say is that when we designed Module 4, we talk about this issue of how to engage cities in supporting them in developing energy poverty actions. And for that, we suggest to use the climate innovation tools. We really have to do a participatory process that the cities have to lead, or the cities have to, how can I say, understand that it's not just an energy efficiency measure. It has the social component that Alice was mentioned. It's also the economic issue. So we have to have very clear numbers of how much this is going to cost, the impact that is going to be addressed, and of course the indicators. So just to conclude my intervention is that we have to, we can engage cities better if we help them to initiate a process to develop a well-structured energy poverty actions in the city.
Thank you, Daniela. That was a really great point of view. And I think that we also will try to do so. As regarding the SECAP, I think that it should be, the energy poverty policies should be within the SECAP, that we are also talking with municipalities. Saba?
Yes, thanks. I have one more comment here. At least in Hungary, success mainly depends on the local decision makers. So, I mean, the local mayors, vice mayors. We have a flagship municipalities, so-called flagship municipality, Józsefváros, where the vice mayor is a social expert. He knows energy poverty, and he understands the problem. That's why he can motivate their colleagues to take this powerful action serious, and this is a really great help. And it seems that we have to communicate to other pilot municipalities or other non-official municipalities, but who are interested in powerful, that look at here is our flagship municipality. Everything can be organized, but this is the problem. Here is the solution, and this is how to do powerful actions. So I would suggest to communicate the good practice in pilot municipality, pilot country level. So let's create flagship municipalities, and let's share their story with other potential municipalities.
Thank you, Saba. I don't see any more hands. I would like also to share that within the presentations that we have already made in several municipalities, it had triggered at first to develop SECAP that many municipalities didn't have, and moreover to develop or create energy communities. So this is a win for presenting power, even if some of those municipalities won't be pilot municipalities on the project. Okay. I do not have any other thing to share with that.
I could maybe add something, and I don't know why, but I can't raise the hand here because I'm the host. And yeah, just to mention and to add to what I wrote on the text in the chat, and I think that to overcome this challenge of engaging cities, one of the main points will be the guidebook, because besides providing help to the already motivated municipalities, the guidebook will serve very well, I think, to approach the municipalities for the first contact, like when we contact these municipalities, telling them that, hey, we have a guidebook which can support you on this process. It can be, I think, very effective, like showing them a clear steps or clear options on how to tackle energy poverty or where to start from. Because as I said, like one of the first questions sometimes is, okay, how do we start? We don't know where to start from. So the guidebook, I think, besides of the support, will be also very good approaching resource.
Super quickly, if I may, because I see we're out of time. I raised my hand also. About the guidebook, I totally agree with Aitor, and indeed it will be of great help to municipalities. But I just want to point out that we need to be extra careful not to produce just another guidebook that will say the same stuff as the handbook of the Energy Poverty Advisory Hub says, or as the Covenant of Mayors say. So we will need to be careful to propose something that is unique in its way, not the same work again, refer to the work already done, if necessary, if needed, and produce something more, give something else to the municipalities. That's the point. That's a challenge.
Yes, and just to complement, just to finalize, because this issue is very important, is that please, we have to understand that helping municipalities is not something that you do it from one day to another. It's a process. So the guidebook will be one of the tools that we are going to use, but we have to, depending on the city and depending on the level of understanding that the city has on energy poverty and sustainable energy and climate action planning, there is where we have to do a plan. Of course, we will have limitations. We have only 2 years more to work, so it's not that we can solve the energy poverty in a city like a miracle, but it's a process. So that's why, again, we kindly invite you to consider this innovative approach of using climate innovation tools to really help cities in designing actions, more than that, because we cannot force them to establish targets for energy poverty like the Covenant is suggesting, okay? But we can help them to design effective actions that they can implement in the local level. So that's the only clarification I wanted to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela. Does anyone else has something to share, or we can move forward?
Maybe just a last sentence. Sorry for the time, but yeah, I think that similarly to the supporters and mentors, here we also need empathy. Like, first to listen to these municipalities, which are their needs, what do they want to do, which are their barriers, and then after listening to them, then propose this help. And so, like, not going directly to, okay, I will help you. First to listen to them and then help.
Thank you. So next on the moderation is Sofena on setting an energy poverty office.
Yes, correct. Yeah, can we? Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Please. Yes. So we have already set up 2 energy poverty offices. One is in Sofia, the other one is in Plovdiv. It is within another energy agency, the Plovdiv Energy Agency. And we have so far engaged several municipalities in our work. And our approach was, because of course, as Zdravko mentioned earlier today, municipalities are very busy with their own stuff. So adding more to their load, to their already heavy load is not the best thing to do. So what we did is we engage municipalities or these divisions of the municipality, which are already dealing with projects that are compatible, like if they're working on climate issues or on clearing the air or on other problems like that. It is we found easier to connect with them and to and they find it complementary to their work to be engaged in the Power Poor project. So it works well, and also they have better access. They have already established access to Power Poor households, and this is how we got our easy access to those. And this is how we get people to talk to us, because engaging the municipality, it lends people already trust to the Power project idea. This is what I wanted to share.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I think that connects quite well to the next point. Actually, do we just stick with you now for the next for the moderation of the next part on Energy Poverty Office, or who from Sofena would take this on?
Well, I can do that.
Yes. Good, Lily.
Okay, so sorry, I don't have the presentation, so if you can do that for me, it would be okay. Yes, so I already said what Sufana has done. We have established 2 energy poverty offices already, one in Sofia, and Plovdiv is the second biggest city, and this is where the second one is. So I should give the floor to Aitor, perhaps, if you would like to tell us your experience.
Yep. Well, we don't have so far complete experience in the energy poverty office aspect because there officially haven't been established any here yet. But as I already mentioned on Tuesday and meeting, we already have some partners that are and some stakeholders that are interested. Some of them will include PowerPoint resources and materials in their own existing offices. For example, one is in the Gipuzkoa region. In our region, there is an energy office, which is virtual so far, but they want to make it also physical. So they participate in the trainings, and they are still there in the process of establishing the physical one, but in the process because of the also COVID situation and so on. Then an interesting thing and concrete solution maybe to overcome this challenge will be that the regional agency is also thinking about establishing energy offices in different municipalities or actually regions. And I don't know how it's called, but it's not, it's something between municipality and the region. It's something in between. And it's like a region that is formed by, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 municipalities.
I think in English it's called Commonwealth of Municipalities or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I guess you understand it, the Commonwealth of Municipalities. So yeah, the original government has this aim, or they have this intention to establish these offices or to support municipalities in establishing these offices. So in that sense, I think that the very important is also the coordination between municipalities and regional agencies, and to give them this common point where the interest of the municipalities or the needs of the municipalities and the interest of the regional agencies come together, and so one can help to each other in establishing these offices. So I think that this kind of task of coordinating between different local or regional authorities can be very relevant. That and maybe it's not a PowerPoint task, but I think that we as PowerPoint with or through the stakeholder liaison groups, through other networks, we can somehow engage this or make this and common point with these different organizations. So I think that there we can also, and we have like a coordination role in that sense, and bringing together this interest and motivations and points.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Who would like to share their experience so far? Perhaps.
Hi, hello. I can.
Yes, Elaine.
I can just jump in. I don't have a relevant experience, of course, because we're not directly. We are working with some municipalities, but not me personally. But in the lab, we have some collaborations. What I have. What I have to say here also, and I think it's relevant, is what Anna Marie said before, is that the municipalities issue is that a lot can change. For instance, our colleagues in Portugal had the elections, and in other countries, Croatia also. So with an election or with something like that, a lot can change. So I would guess that it would be a good strategy to find some form of social structure or social practice that is already established, and just go into the already existing structure and work from there. For instance, I know that Taba in Energy Club, they are doing that. They have found an existing structure from a different project, and they're just building on that for the Energy Poverty Alleviation Office. So maybe that can work in the long term also, to have a structure there, to have something like a point. So that's from my side.
Yes, yes, indeed. As I said, our experience is similar, that working with an existing, with partners that are already working on similar projects proves very helpful. And well, part of our job is already done. So, but perhaps there are other approaches to that problem. Anyone else?
Yeah, just a brief comment that indeed that's help a lot when you can join to another Horizon 2020 project, or to find new synergies between municipality and your project. I mean, PowerPool, of course. And now it's a really interesting, exciting part that we have one office, which is an OSS. It's a big project. Of course, when we talking about energy poverty alleviation offices, it's in my head, it's not a real individual office, because we cannot pay for that. So we can support to establish an office like this, but in the reality, at least in Hungary, we can give an additional service. So for instance, this OSS RenoHub gives information about renovation, energy retrofits for households, and it can an additional service to give advice how to tackle energy poverty, or how to decrease energy consumption. This is something, some plus, some additional service. So somehow, if we can merge a PowerPool service with another existing renovation platform, let's say, it will be really successful in the long run, beyond the project timeline, I mean.
Yes, indeed. That's a way to secure the continuity of the project beyond the final date of the completion of our work. That's a very good point. Thank you. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Hi. Yes.
Yeah, maybe I can tell also about Latvia situation, that we have established PowerPool office within the existing office of ZREA, Zemgala Regional Energy Agency, because we, as energy agency, we have to provide consultations on energy efficiency anyway. We have done it for 10 years. So this is like complementary section for us to provide consultations for energy poor households. So I think Elvis has made very nice picture how our office looks like. And this is where, as soon as COVID is over, we will be sitting there and greeting everyone who will approach us. At the moment, the COVID is just making us work online more, but everything is ready, and we're just adapting to situation. But as soon as it's better, we are back to office.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Yes, of course, indeed.
Really, this is Daniela. Just to complement probably one idea also to how to, because we have a project target of setting several energy poverty alleviation offices. So we have to really think how to make it very efficient and long lasting. That is the other thing, because we can create virtual or in an office that stays 1 year and then we close it when the project closes. The idea is to have offices that will run on time. So I think that what Ingo has mentioned, that of course ZREA is project partner, but also ZREA is an energy agency, a regional energy agency. So I think that probably we can also try to find in the other countries to find other, how can I say, partners or the people from the poverty energy liaison group, the liaison group, that they would be interested also to open this office. So we have to find some other stakeholders that would like to join forces and create or how can I say, complement another efforts that they have. And also, for example, this morning we heard in the webinar from Marta from Ecoservice in Barcelona. They mentioned that, of course, they have 10 energy poverty offices, but they are financed by a Horizon 2020 project. So we have to also understand the limitations, because the offices will not run for free. Someone has to be there. If it's virtual, anyway, if it's virtual, someone has to attend it virtually. So I think that we have to think about the energy poverty offices also as a good plan, a business plan of how to run the office in a certain amount of time. So just that we are prepared for this in the future.
Yeah, excellent that you're already planning it to have your office to have a long run. And I suppose we all should keep that in mind, that our work has to continue beyond the limits of the project. So anyone else with issues or with good practices of establishing energy poverty alleviation offices?
I can see Anna Marie's hand, so Anna Marie will go. But also, I'm not sure if you're seeing the chat, but indeed, the energy crisis can be an opportunity for offices, because people, the general public, will want to know more about energy-related expenses and all of this. So, yeah, indeed, the ongoing crisis can help with the offices. But Anna Marie, please go ahead. I just wanted to.
It is actually mentioned, this is the approach that we made for our offices. First in Zagreb, where DOR is located, we will open the office in our office where we work. So actually why we didn't open earlier, because we actually gained a new office from the city of Zagreb, and it's we need to change all the windows, because it will be really funny to talk about energy efficiency and energy poor while we are sitting in the codes, because we couldn't close our windows. So we need to be the best examples. So we changed the windows, and we are trying to make our offices good for us personally to work, to feel comfortable with our area of work. Then idea is that if you remember, we need to have in PowerPoint these policies, actions, and measures that we need to propose to, I don't know, municipalities or something like that. So we actually do that for city of Zagreb. We had told them, like, look, we are opening the PowerPoint offices in the area that you gave to us, and it will be managed by DOR. There will be also our offices, but after 2023, we need some financial measures to have opened this office more than the PowerPoint time of the project. And actually we proposed that measure to the city of Zagreb. So we are thinking about what we will do with this office after 2023. So maybe all of us need to include in the measures that we want to propose to the cities. One of the measures is financial measure of the local offices.
Yeah, thank you very much. So yes, indeed, you need first to have a good-looking office, comfortable office before you invite people there. But of course, now in the COVID crisis, we are all being very careful about in-person meetings in general. So this makes it probably more difficult for the already established energy offices to function. So like we did here in Sofia, we established our office, but we haven't had very many visitors yet because of the COVID situation. People are being very conscious. So that's also something to keep in mind. Is that all?
Aitor has a hand also, sorry.
Okay, yes, Aitor,
Yeah,
please.
if I may. No, I discovered that I can raise the hand. And yeah, just to add what Eleni mentioned about the energy crisis and as an opportunity, I think that it is a very good moment also, besides the project, also for the offices and also for this argumentation of the making cities to see that there is a lot of people with a lot of insecurity in the energy related areas. And nowadays, at least in our area, there's no any physical place usually related to energy aspect where people can go and ask about energy related issues, like no such neutral areas, because some office maybe are big companies and big companies offices, and then these big companies, of course, they kind of attract these people and they bring them to their area, and they maybe, I don't know, offer whatever they can offer, whatever services or whatever bills. But I think that explaining clearly to these municipalities that there is need to have physical and neutral places where people can ask about energy related issues, especially in these times when the energy prices are so high, can be a very good argument to convince them and to make them see this importance.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Perhaps that's all.
One final from Chris. Sorry, Lily. There's just one more hand.
Yeah, sorry to jump in at the last moment.
I didn't see it. Sorry.
No, I just raised it right now. I was still milling over what Daniela has said, right? That we have to convince municipalities that having an energy poverty office can actually be a good business idea. So I don't know whether we have data to support that, saying that what you invest in an energy poverty office, you actually don't have to spend by means of social aid, because by empowering people to reduce their energy bills, by giving them the knowledge and the tools to do that, you don't have to pay their bills anymore. But I don't know whether we have such data available.
I have not heard about that directly, Chris, that there's a value over solving energy poverty, but probably this is a concept that we could explore further. Probably in the guidebook, in the second version of the guidebook, we can try to investigate if there are how much, for example, we can ask to the Sun for All project, how much did it cost to establish and run the 10 offices in Barcelona, how much did they cost, and what are if they are saving something. I think that we have to do probably some research. So Eleni, just to remember this for the guidebook in the second round that we are going to do it for next year.
Or could also maybe for the policy recommendations, sorry, just thinking out loud here, maybe to include it, because the policy recommendations will be further on in the project, and we will maybe have data from ourselves to support it. Maybe, maybe if, for instance, in some municipalities that we have already an office from now, we can just make a round of another round of visits by the end of the project or something to show what happened there, maybe. But
well, we also have to keep in mind, of course, that municipalities are not alone in deciding on the spending of their budget. So maybe, you know, they have to bring that forward. Maybe they wouldn't be allowed to relocate funds. So this has to be investigated for every country individually and for every municipality probably also.
Yeah. Okay.
One from Alice, and then I think it's
yeah, we have a time constraint.
Sorry if I'm rushing you. I'm
no,
sorry.
It's good, Lily. No, thanks. It's very interesting, the discussion.
So just one more addition, that probably the energy poverty offices can be part of the technical support that IPAC announced today, the calls for 2022 and 2023, and probably the municipalities could investigate these calls for technical support. And if there will be money allocated in such activities from the advisory hub, the Energy Poverty Advisory Hub, this could be beneficial also for the maintenance, not the establishment of the energy poverty offices to be, let's say, established under PowerPoint.
Yes, indeed. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Anyone else raising their hand?
No, you're good. I think.
Okay, so I think because we're running out of time. I don't want to hold up everyone, so I think we're done with this point, unless there is still anyone who wants to add something more. Yeah. So let's happily move forward.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lily. Great. I think now, I mean, at the end, we talked quite a lot about specifically, again, we came back to municipalities. And I think now I think would be the point to sort of go a little bit back to the challenge which was addressed earlier, which was on engagement of people who are suffering from energy poverty and sort of the engagement with them really. So I think on home visits, Alice and Daniela, I'm looking at you briefly because it says improving energy poverty actions, but what was energy home visits now?
Yeah, home visits. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we say.
Okay.
All right. So
yeah, but you can cover both, Saba.
Both. Okay.
So Chava, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so you have mentioned lots of challenges regarding home visits, and I was thinking that oh my God, this energy crisis. We are in the middle of this energy crisis, and I'm sitting the only country where energy prices were frozen since 2014. So I don't know if you're aware or not, but we still pay the same amount for electricity, for water, for gas since 2014. And that's why it's really challenging to make home visits sexy. So let's say we should make home visits sexy because we should link our supporters and mentors to energy poor households, and probably this would be the most effective way to get enough home visits. So but sure, when we there and we try to conduct home visits, we need data. So as far as I remember, Anu from Estonia has mentioned that no data available regarding energy consumption, and this would be the first issue. That what do you think? What would be the best solution to gain the required data? So here in Hungary, we have a problem with those people who burn firewood, so who use firewood for heating their homes. We don't have any statistical data how much firewood is needed, and when we on site, it's a really challenging task to measure that amount of wood, because in the best case you have to store wood in 2 years advance to get the dry firewood, but for an energy poor household, it's impossible to have enough money to buy in advance firewood for 2 years. So what do you think, Anu? How can we get the required data? Or Eleni?
Okay, so I remember this because we had the bilateral discussion also, so it's not the first time I'm hearing this.
Yeah.
So it is, of course, for you an issue. As for when it comes to the tools, you need kilograms of wood or kilograms of whatever it is that they are burning, and the cost, right? So you need both of this. But as you say, if they have access to the wood through, if they go lumberjacking in the forest or something, and you don't know, or there's no cost or something, how do you make the assessment? My opinion is to go around this is that they are energy poor because they do not have a secure access to some form of energy form that it is nice for them and it's good for the environment and their house, and it is warm and nice. So my point would be to just, if you see this, if they know the cost of the wood, if they have paid for it, you just put the cost in. If they don't, you just go ahead and say that they are kind of energy poor, because our indicator is a benchmark, but if they're not spending anything, it doesn't work properly, but they are.
Yeah.
True. And also, as George says in the chat, it is the cost. It is the cost that that is important. So maybe make an estimation, if you can, of the cost. It doesn't have to be 100% correct, but that's how I would do it, because I here in Greece also, in some really poor areas or something, they do the same, and you can approach it only sideways, let's say, not tackle it directly. I also see Anu has a hand for this.
Yeah, just explaining the Estonian situation. In Estonia, actually, the data is available, but the household doesn't have access to it. So the data is usually on the housing cooperative or apartment association level. And when we want to get the data, we need to go to the apartment association. What we now want to change, partly in connection with this project, is that the data should be available and everybody should see their consumption data on the energy bill. We in Estonia, we just don't have this tradition to have the yearly data or monthly consumption on the bill. You just see the number, how much you have to pay, because all the calculations are made on the apartment association, and every member of apartment association, of course, can ask the output of the calculations anytime, but it's not tradition to send a monthly overview to each apartment owner. And in Estonia, of course, I have to mark that these energy poor households mostly are apartment owners. They are not tenants, they are not renting their apartments, they are owners. And as all decisions are made on apartment association level, they practically are, they're not able to do significant investments themselves, because they only have a part of the big block. So in Estonian case, when we speak about elevation of energy poverty, there is so-called middle level stakeholder, which is a housing cooperative or apartment association, because they actually handle the information.
Thank you, Anu. Yeah, Inga?
Yeah, and I just wanted to just suggest just an idea that what we use sometimes for setups, if we don't know the consumption of these houses, we just make assumptions that if you know square meters, then you apply maybe average consumption, average price, and then at least you get something. If there is no data at all, he just remembers that he brought 2 cars with this firewood, and that's it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there are many special units here in Hungary as well. So sometimes it's really funny that yeah, two cars or 2 tons of food. Yeah, this is the amount. Yeah, yeah. Guessing is really important, and thank you for your inputs. And the other issue was this owning issue. You have mentioned, Anu, that in Estonia many people own their own apartments or houses. This is the situation in Hungary too, but in Latvia, I suppose there was an issue that tenants, the number of tenants are higher, so probably they don't know the exact parameter of the apartment because they are not the owner. And in this case, somehow we should help energy supporters to gain the required and the good data. I don't know if any other partner countries have the same issue, that the number of owners is too low, and that's why lack of data or not good quality data can be gained from the energy poor homes. Alice?
Yeah, actually, we are among the lucky countries and the lucky pilot cases here in Greece, because despite if someone is the owner or it's the one that rents the house, they are in full charge of all the energy bills. So we do not face such problems. Now, actually, we do not have the model of social housing here in Greece. It's we have something, but it's not considerable. I mean, it's something very old. Now there are some efforts made to increase the social housing model, but in any case, all apartment users, renters or owners, they are fully aware of the energy bills. So it's not a case here in Greece. On the other hand, as I'm following the title of this session, Improving Home Energy Visits. And after the home visits that we have done, it is very good to prepare the household to gather and collect the data of the energy bills. It's a little bit awkward to go there and start, I don't know, 1 hour, 2 hours to collect the energy bills, to calculate. So it will good to have, you know, in advance when we're calling or when we're organizing the house visits, to ask them to collect the last year data about the energy, about gas, about whatever other energy bills, so as to be everyone prepared and focus on the real problem instead of calculating kilowatt hours and the cost and split them per month and everything. This is just a suggestion coming from house visits we have organized so far.
Yes, thanks. So it is a really, really important point you have raised, because we also suggested to the mayors, for instance, when we have the extend field home visits session, that ask the locals to gain bills, because when we ring the bell, it's no time to looking for the data, and this is not that easy, because some people pay their bills on paper, I mean in the traditional way. Some people pay a monthly fee via their bank account. So this is the new generation. So somehow we have to find a way, and somehow we have to show how to show to energy supporters and mentors how to gain these kind of information. So that would be probably a great idea if home visits will be organized, pre-organized a bit. I mean, for instance, a household can apply for a home visit. So this is a reverse methodology that we can communicate via our communication platform, via Facebook, that this is there is an opportunity to get an energy advisor, in this case an energy supporter, and you can book an appointment here and here, register here and here. So that is how we can link energy supporters and the households. So I don't know, what do you think about it?
Yeah, if I may add to what I just said, is that having, you know, the experience from, I think that actually, if the identification of any problems or challenges are recognized after having 10, 15 house visits. Actually, we found some problems, or we were a little bit complicated when we were doing the house visits, when we conducted the first 10 house visits. So after that, you understand the best way that the tools are working and how to organize specifically the house visits and be close to the household. So of course we have excellent tools, but a work needs to be done also from our side so that we can support also the energy supporters and mentors to conduct house visits that they will be of a value for the project.
Yeah, indeed. And another issue, this is relevant, that identifying energy poor households, how can get touch with those households. And I got a call from one of our supporters last week, and she mentioned that she got a list from the municipality, so a social list who gain a social subsidy or children subsidy from the municipality, and there were a list, and they can organize home visits with the guide of this list. So this can be an option. This can be a way to get addresses, and this is important because of course we can make home visits in those households who are not energy poor, but the main aim of this project to find energy poor households and families, and this kind of list of statistical data about who is who gets the subsidy, it can be a good starting point to find the proper households. And the COVID situation is probably the last point. Those energy supporters also said that now they make phone calls, and this is the easiest way to conduct home visits during this COVID pandemic. And I can imagine that we can communicate our supporters that there is an option in this difficult situation, and they can use phone call or other way to contact with households, and of course they can be more creative, and another idea can be that we can make videos for them. Probably last time somebody mentioned that a guiding video can be effective, because we have several supporters and managing calls, and okay, you are on the right track, keep on. It's really tiring, but if we can make a video for how to use powerful tools, for instance, as Eleni has mentioned, the new ideas, the new facts, it make home visits more effective. Chris?
Yes, I was just wondering whether I had understood exactly what you said, that you received a list from the municipality which included the people who receive some kind of social benefit, and that you can use that list to do your home visits.
Yeah, it wasn't me, but one of our supporters.
I'm surprised that is possible, because it is of course it infringes on the privacy of these people if they share that information with you.
It's they work inside of the municipality, so they are a kind of relation, social. They are, as far as I remember, they are social workers.
Okay.
So in this way, it's not that unheard of. Of course, GDPR is it's really important, and I don't know this list, so
yeah.
This was shared only by the supporter. who conduct the home visits. So
okay, I see. Right. So it's not that they share it with Energia Club; they only
no,
share it
no,
with
no, no.
the social worker who is entitled to. But okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. This is their business, so it's we have no capacity to have a list like this, and yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments? Okay. Okay, so if not, so probably I can give to the floor to the next.
Yes, thank you very much. So I think we now have still some time to continue discussion actually on further innovative energy poverty alleviation actions. I think here I would hand to Dor, right, Avi? Is that correct?
Yes.
Perfect.
So actually, I have like prepared for this section one slide with the pictures because I want to talk about energy box, the idea of some action that we can do after we visit the home that we applied for this project. So idea is that and we actually talk about, I think, in Monday in the working package 4, what we will give the advice to the households that we visit. So what after that we map them in our tools, then how we can help them. So idea is that in Croatia, we always talk about big measures, medium measures, and small measures. So big measure is something that we mentioned earlier, the total adoption of the energy efficiency of the home. So start the new, bring the isolation, new window, maybe change not the firewood stove with the gas, change it with the heat pump, go the best way and make the best energy efficiency house. So this is the big investment, and actually it's not the cities or local problem. In Croatia, government is dealing with this, and they have this program of energy efficiency for the home and program for energy efficiency of the multi-apartment buildings. And they opened the public call in 2020 for a renovation of 100% financing the renovation of the energy poor households. But so this is like the idea of the government how to help. And the local cities are implementing through their local offices the way how do they administrate, how they applied the households and multi-apartment buildings to this public call. So the middle investment is maybe changing the old appliances with the new one. So this can be done through the PowerPo project if you have like good action measures with local authorities or local offices. So it can be done like we are proposing this for the city of Zagreb for the financial program of 2022 to gain some money, like 150,000 euros. They will apply for some of the measures, and one of the measure is changing old appliances with the new appliances. And we are hoping that it will go to our local office. And the last is what I will talk more about is these small measures, like creating energy box. It's like 30 euros per the box, and you will put like all the for the windows, how to draft to change the draft is like for 2 or 3 windows, it's 20 euro investment, or for the 3 radiators, you can put the like aluminum folia under the radiator, and it's like 20 euros for 3 radiators, or you can change lights like LED bulbs with this like 2 LED bulbs is 14 euros measure, and it's creating like a box of energy box of 50 euros, and it could be done as proposal for the local offices, local municipalities to do that, to maybe incorporate it in their programs for financing, something like that through their departments, or maybe creating like crowdfunding campaign through the Powerful Fund and doing something like through the Powerful project or on the local cities area, like in the city of Križevci, our partners is Energy Cooperative that actually has done 2 crowdfunding campaign, and we are thinking about, after we visit 220 homes in that area, to go back and through the crowdfunding campaign maybe finance to for these boxes that we can actually give that to the houses. This is for the city of Križevci. For city of Zagreb, we are planning doing that through the local Department of Social Welfare, so that they as municipalities invest in the idea of, after visiting 220 homes in Zagreb, to maybe go back and give them this energy box. So what is my idea? How do you think it could be implemented in your pilot country? Do you think that we can go maybe with the local municipalities? Do we need to maybe have like idea through the crowdfunding campaign to the Powerful Fund? And did you have some examples of this energy box or something similar? And do you need to change something that be like maybe to have more personalized boxes, which we have done in Croatia and Zagreb, but we have like 10 houses to visit, so we can do this personal. Maybe some of them choose only the LED bulbs, they didn't choose other things in their boxes, but as I said, we have more households to visit, so we are not choosing that approach. So I don't know, maybe we can go around and so if you can, like, if you have something like that in your country, do you think that you can do that through your municipalities, and in which way do is like by crowdfunding campaign or through the implementing program? So I don't know, maybe we can go. Andrea, you write something in the chat box, maybe you can.
Yeah, maybe just to say 1 second. Also, I don't know if you see me. I don't see myself. I just say that it's extremely interesting, and I was saying that this option, the crowdfunding one and the municipality initiative, could actually be combined, because what we have seen also in this kind of socially oriented projects, a crowdfunding campaign sponsored or matched or supported by the municipality is actually what works best. Could be just the municipality launches it as a sponsor, or maybe supported, like say, if you reach X amount, the municipality will provide the rest. Different combination where there is something that's been done quite a lot lately, and especially if we're doing reward system or donation system, it's much, because the municipality doesn't have to have complex financial system. So this is something we can do through Power Pool. We as your crowd could provide the support to the municipality to kind of set up this kind of things. And it's easily replicable in that needs some support for the municipality, but yeah, this is something that could be done.
Yeah. So it's like for the pilot countries, we can do it through the Power Fund. So it can be done like we can do it like all together, or if it's better to maybe go like through our local municipalities.
Could be better maybe to have a first attempt as a tryout in one country, and then we see what kind of reception, what kind of level we can reach, and then one can multiply, either do it in all different countries or find a common one. We can plan that.
So maybe we can hear from the other pilot countries what they think about this energy box, and do they think it was good for their home visits after, to give them something like that to help them with energy bills. I don't know. So maybe I can share it so that you see what is actually energy box. I don't know if I can.
Yes, Anna Marie, we want to see the box.
Okay, I'm only what I choose here, all participants like this.
I thought, can we give
I think that
the right?
Right to whom, sorry?
To Anna-Mari the right to present her screen?
Yeah, Anna-Mari, you are co-host, I think. Because I just lost the connection, so I don't know what happened. But yeah, this.
Yeah, I also
I'm
lost
sorry.
the connection. Yeah, I also lost the connection, and then
But
it came
yeah,
back
my Zoom
again.
meeting went like it went closed. It closed, so
I don't know if
okay.
you're seeing my.
Yes, now we see.
So do you see the box? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is something that we have done in Croatia a few times through the other project. So we put it like, I put the money, how each of these cost for like 3 radiators, alumifolia. So if they don't have a thermal facade, they need something to keep the. So if you see that this is really small measures, they actually don't spend, they don't increase the bill, except maybe like if you have bulb, but this bulb actually will save you if you have the old one. So this is something like, because I think that someone mentions what with multi-part apartment buildings, because if you want to go to the big energy efficiency renovation, you need to include all the owners. So if you have energy poor inside the multi-apartment building, you can't help them with a real idea like go and put a new window or change the facade, because it's not his right. He needs to have all the owners of the building, except in Croatia, because we all 96% of us are owners of the apartment. That means that we are owner of the building. But if I want to change something, I need all the owners to accept that we are going to energy efficiency renovation. So this kind of the measure is maybe like first aid, like something that we can done. So I don't know.
Anna-Mari, I didn't understand who pays the box.
Idea is that we have like 2 ways. First way is maybe go through the local municipalities and propose them this measure that they can implement in their financial program for their departments where they are like social welfare departments. They actually have like grant for the yearly operation. So we did do that for the city of Zagreb. We told them like, look, we have 220 homes that we want to visit through the PowerPool project, but we don't have the money for this kind of box to help them with some way. Could you in the 2022 implemented these measures in your financial program? And they actually are thinking about, and then not for 220 homes, they actually thinking about 1,200 homes to give this actual energy box. Or other idea is to make crowdfunding campaign through the PowerPool fund that we have the toolkit, or maybe like you can do it on your local area, like we are thinking doing with the city of Križevci, where our partners is Energy Cooperative, who has done 2 energy crowdfunding campaigns, so they have like experience to maybe do something like this.
Okay, but the houses that, let's say, the city of Zagreb funded through this box, these were part of the social housing, or they were individually owned?
Individually owned. Like we have this other project that we also visit 102 households, and we also make the education of the, let's say, supporters. They were from the Faculty of Engineering. They visit 102 homes, and they bring this box when they visit this home.
Yes. So if I can say something, I think very interesting discussion. The reason why I intervene is that I think it's a very good idea that we propose something tangible. We can propose something tangible instead of saying that, you know, you behavioral change and all these buzzwords. We could say that we have worked with a specific package of soft measures, which means very low cost, and it's a best practice from DOR in Croatia with a good, let's say, impact, and we envisage that we this could bring value to power poor community. So we could propose such a solution when we have, let's say, with the Power Act, some interventions. This could be one, very specific, that you could use the energy box or 2 or 3 things from the energy box to increase your assessment, to hamper, let's say, your energy price costs. I don't know if you agree, but I think that it's a good way of bringing something more concrete to citizens. I find when I participated in some household visits, and it's difficult when you discuss to start saying to them general things. While if you say that with, let's say, 20 euros, you will save, let's say, this amount of money, which means after 6 months, you will save 20 euros then per month, whatever. Things like that, such tips might create the difference. And this is what I was hearing many times. What do we offer? Why should they hear us? Why should they open their homes and things like that?
Yeah. Because maybe we can, because we start visiting, so we can go back and we don't have money. We need to or implement it through the local municipalities or make crowdfunding campaign. But we did talk about, I think in Monday or Tuesday, about going back to some of the households and maybe then bringing them the box and not all the households, maybe 10%, because as I said, we do not have money. And actually, because we don't spend some money of the traveling that we need to do, maybe we can relocate some of the money from the Power Pool project to make something like this.
I like it. Maybe with the logo of the Power Pool, and it can be calibrated, which means if they have already LED bulbs, they should be out. If they already have, let's say, radiators, this could be out.
Yeah, maybe for Mediterranean area, you will use this for the radiators. I don't know, maybe because we are more continental doing this, maybe Portugal, Spain, and Greece will have choose something else, maybe for the cooling or something like that for them.
If I may add to what Harris said right now and what Anna Marie is suggesting, because I'm thinking that probably funding from the municipalities is not very easy here in Greece, but an idea that just came out, Harris, I don't know if you want also to say something on that, is probably that we can collaborate with some providers, let's say Kafkas here in Greece, and to be part, and this action to be part of their social responsibility activities, CSR. So probably they can fund, let's say, 100 LED bulbs, let's say, so that we can give them. And they also cover their social, their CSR activities. This CSR is under the Power Pool, let's say, and then it's much more easier also to have more supporters on that. I mean, the companies that they have the bulbs and everything. I don't know how this idea sounds, Harry, for Greece. I don't know.
Very good idea. Very good idea. And then, supporters can have another duty to inform us, for instance, how many bulbs they want for which household. And then we will provide them based on what exactly you said. Very good idea, Alice.
Okay, let's discuss it also for the Greek case study for Greece, but I think that it can work, but not for municipalities. I have not second thoughts. I know that they are not very easy to give money on such activities that they concern the citizens per se, mitigating energy poverty, since there is not the framework on that. But other activities can be easy, let's say, but they need design and a good connection and communication.
If I may, just on this briefly, in the sense of, for example, for the municipality, in a context of the idea for crowdfunding, for example, not necessarily the municipality, if wants to be involved, needs to put money. The important part is the sponsorship, just to give a sense there is a backing behind. And also the idea of involving companies or providers as part of the CSR activities is quite good. As an example, I can give the campaign that was just done with Greenpeace in Spain, the one we put on Power Fund. They reached an agreement with a solar panel provider because part of the campaign was to set up a solar roof. And the biggest actually producer of solar panels, which is a Chinese company, I forgot the name, they actually in the end donated the solar panels as part of their strategy as a sort of top up to the fund. So if you reach at least 20,000, we will donate 50,000 in the solar panel, covering the cost of the panels themselves. So the companies are actually open to these solutions. So even in the case of light bulbs or other things, I think there could be room to arrange this kind of partnership.
Elvis has raised hand.
Yeah, I see we are running out of time, so I will be really quick. I just wanted to say that it's a really great idea. I totally agree that something touchable always leaves greater impression. And also here in Latvia, on the info days, we are planning to give out LED light bulbs. And also we have this thing that we will give a prize to one lucky person who will receive a consultation. We will give a refrigerator to them, which is the biggest actually consumer of electricity in the homes. And the people who apply, they really say, yeah, I have old refrigerator and I really need one. So also we will make this investment of, I don't know, 200-300 euros maybe. But in the electricity cost and the environmental savings, we will regain that definitely. That's what I wanted to add, and it's really, really great.
Yeah, the idea for Info Days was that we would give these LED bulbs and having a sticker on it that you can apply for consultation here and here. And it would be like promotional tool for that. But I also like this box very much. Maybe you can offer someone that he can choose one of the box, for instance, if you cannot give everything.
Yeah, this is like I said, when we have this project that we have only 10 households that we are visiting in the city of Zagreb, because we should choose the people who are physically disabled. So we choose like 10 houses. We put them like, what you want in this box, because we have only 10 bucks. But when we have 1,600 bucks, we couldn't go the personal. We just choose like this, and said like, so this is common that we use for, I think, maybe at least 5 projects. So if someone has like maybe other idea, or do you have something like that in your country? Maybe you called it something like different, and maybe you include something else in the box, or it's creation thing.
Yeah, I think that for the next project meeting, we can come some good ideas of what to put in the box. And yes, I think it's a great idea. When Anna Mari told me that, I told her, Anna Mari, you have to present this because it's wonderful. But Anna Mari, I think that as a task for the next project meeting, we can discuss a little more. For when we discuss more things on the engaging and process, we can bring this issue of the box. I think that the idea that Alice mentioned, that trying to find partners from the private sector, if they can support the project or so, I think that we have to think a little more, but it's a wonderful idea, and try to think how we can implement it on the local level. So it's a good idea. So everybody, the task is now to reflect how we can bring these boxes to our households or energy supporters and mentors.
So this is I presented. I present, so the summary is that this is the box. It costs from 30 euros to 50 euros. You can personalize it. You can do it like this. We can go all the households if we find idea how to finance, or maybe choose like 10% that will go back and give them the box. And also the idea is to invest it through the Power Fund, doing with the local authorities that it's not possible. We are doing it with the city of Zagreb, so it can be done, or relocating some of the powerful project money. So this is like summary of all.
Just one idea, because also I when I used to work in the private sector several years ago, we did an agreement with, I remember, with Philips. I will try to find that box, and we gave a box, but only with the LED bulbs, but all type of LED bulbs, and that was a gift. And in fact, Philips financed it. Totally, and they provided, I don't remember, like 1,000 of these boxes just to give to for promotional activities when we were working on energy efficiency. I will try also to find that box picture, because I know I have it, but yeah, it could be this box that has several things. It can be only bulbs, it can be several things. Saba is also suggesting several, so I think that it's a very good idea. Okay. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I can send you the picture, so you can have the picture of what the box is.
Yes, that's so good. Okay, so I think that now, Ana Maria, you can continue. I think that we have another innovative energy poverty action that was shared by INSEF. That also goes also more on the process of how to generate more engagement and energy communities and energy cooperatives. So I think Alice and Ana Maria, you can give the floor to Alice. And
yes, I stopped the sharing, so I probably.
Just
Alice, floor is yours.
Yes, Arthur.
Sorry, just a short question. What do we do time-wise? Because we're already past the time that we had originally foreseen for this segment. So I'm just wondering. I'm happy to let it continue.
Yeah, I think that now with Alice we will have 5 minutes, so Alice to share her innovative idea, and then we have 10 more minutes for the discussion. So we are fine at the time, Arthur. I think that we can adjust.
It was an idea, Daniela, and now it's a reality. So it's
good.
totally based. I think that Andrea will be happy because it was totally based on crowdfunding. I am very happy to share the energy community solely operated, managed by women here in Greece. I'm just sharing here the roadmap. This is an initiative of the the Association of Female Entrepreneurs here in Greece, counting more than 1,200 members, handcrafters, hotel owners, everything. We have all backgrounds. So last December 2020, we had the idea to establish an energy cooperative, and this was discussed with the association board of directors. Of course, I was part of that as a member, but also the Association of Female Entrepreneurs, they are supporting PowerPool. They have sent many people, and we have already certified energy mentors from the association. So what was the idea? We prepared this initiative very well, and in order to attract as many members as we could, we organized 2 workshops to inform the members of the association that we want to establish an energy community. We covered all issues, legal, financial, technical aspects. We answered many questions, and for 2 months we were working in answering questions. So finally, we found the first 60 members, female, of course, and the statute of the energy community, WinCoop, that is the name, was signed during summer 2021. Just to tell you that it was an amazing journey, because the statute starting from northern Greece to the islands, to the south part of Greece. So everybody was giving the statute to the other member to sign. We had a cost of each share to 500 euros. And we believe that because of the very well preparation, the members were convinced. So we gave 757 shares. So the initial capital of the energy cooperative is almost 400,000 euros. So this is a crowdfunding example. The first decision is to develop a photovoltaic plant of 1 megawatt. This is our start, and the energy cooperative is registered in Central Macedonia and Halkidiki region. WinCoop on November 2021, we received finally the grid connection terms from the Hellenic Electricity Distribution Network operator. So officially we can start the construction, which will start on January 2022. We have found supporters and investors on that. That means that the remaining, we need to invest only 20% of the total investment for the development of 1 megawatt PV plant. So we have money for 2 more megawatts, and these are going to be designed and constructed during 2022. So hopefully by the end of 2022, we're going to have 3 megawatts. Just to say that the energy cooperative is for profit, but as we say, for profit is not a bad thing. But of course, we have the social aspect inside that. So the decision of the board of directors, and I'm happy to share that I'm the vice president of the board of directors of the energy community, is that part of the profit that this energy cooperative will give will be dedicated to vulnerable households. We will collaborate with municipalities, specifically with the municipalities in Central Macedonia region, to identify who those are and how we can support them with the profits that are coming from the energy cooperative. So this is the example. Just to say that the statute says that the board of directors will always be consisted by female. Of course, men are welcome, but the high percentage of the energy cooperative should be female, and we want to give access to single families, to vulnerable female, because we consider that this target group is the one that needs more attention and needs more care. So that is from my side.
Thank you, Alice. Thanks for sharing this. I think that is a very inspiring story and cooperative. I mean, I think that when you told us about it, I think that it really impressed us. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, we will, as we will continue working with you in this next year, so we will be listening the results also. So thank you for sharing this, Alice. Very inspiring, as everybody says. Thanks for sharing that, Alice. So I think that with that, Anna Mari, if you have some questions to Alice, we will always have Alice there so we can ask them directly. We have only 10 more minutes to finalize, so I would like to now, I don't know, Arthur and Aitor, please continue.
Yeah, actually quite quickly then, and this is also where I think we would like to invite Eleni back also on the floor to reflect also a little bit on next engagement cycle preparations and steps. Perhaps before that, let us just quickly recap what we discussed today in more general terms. And for this, I will try to share my screen. No, I cannot. I get a message. I cannot do it. Aitor, could you go back to the mural, please, very briefly?
To share the mural.
The mural, whatever.
Mural board.
Mural board. Yes.
Wait, I don't find it now. It's here, but it's a bit tricky. So many windows here.
Okay, well, and I mean, I can just continue in the meantime, because what we have on the mural board and is a good representation. And thanks very much to Chris, who has shown us here that using these kind of digital tools for effective note-taking is actually very much possible in this day and age. So we have quite effectively, I think, for both the main challenges which were discussed in the morning session and also the overcoming the challenge/solutions, we have a very nice representation of what was discussed from the perspective also from the different participating countries. So thanks, Chris, very much for that. And just quickly reiterating that on the solutions that were shared, I mean, without going into detail too much because I don't really have too much time, but it's clear that all these things are very much interconnected. So when we talk about sharing concepts easily, it's very important, like how do we communicate the topic of energy poverty, careful to use the term, not to use the term poor or poverty in that direct sense. And there's a question of definition, what is energy poverty? And then there was also an interesting discussion regarding this 10% criteria for energy, for defining energy poverty. And always, essentially the message here was always considering the audience that we are talking to. This was then connected to engaging supporters and mentors, and that the discussion was, very much that there are indeed some challenges still, but a very interesting thing to note here was that it's important to find sort of support from organizations which have established networks or or members that are already ongoing, where we can quite easily connect to yeah, essentially partner with established communities. And here there's different examples from that you all presented from working with different kind of stakeholders, but also unemployed people which have been recruited to provide advice. So a myriad of solutions and suggestions how to go forward on this. Quickly on engaging cities and municipalities, then, I mean, here we've seen also, again, I mean, challenges to which we have the solutions to some extent. The guidebook was mentioned as a very good resource to engage municipalities going forward, but here a clear message not to ensure that this guidebook is complementary to whatever our sort of partner organizations and initiatives are putting out there now in this regard. Really, given the fact that there's limited human resources and staff capacity in municipalities, we have to make very much sure that we work with municipalities on related topics, make it complementary to their work. Having said that, there are people in municipalities, of course, who are very interested, and we always have to make sure that we make this connection to SICAPs very clear, which of course what we're doing. And I think here, just reiterating again what Daniela said earlier, this importance of introducing, the climate system innovation tools that we had included in the module, specifically using here this opportunity to encourage sort of holistic thinking in municipalities around energy poverty. And obviously we discussed a lot more, but we don't have time. Then on energy poverty offices, I mean, we've seen some cases they are established in some in process, and in some cases we have to think about ways how to set these up / how to connect to existing networks and structures. Here, I think one interesting point to just point out is, I guess, that the current energy crisis was sort of put as an opportunity for the establishment of such offices, and yes, just seeing that making stakeholders, municipalities understand how important it is to have such a very visible an office that could serve this purpose. And we have had examples of where this is already ongoing and some where it's currently considered. And then I guess lastly, and the last point, energy poverty actions and home visits. I mean, we finalized with a very innovative and I think two very innovative and well-received examples just now. Thank you, Anna-Marie and Alice. Of course, there are still issues that need to be overcome, like regarding home visits. So data was a huge issue that we talked about, that no data might be available. And yeah, that it's important, of course, to take into account sort of energy prices and the general awareness of the people that we are talking to and the people that might be considered energy poor. That there's sort of awareness from there, and also around the high cost of energy. There was a discussion around sort of getting access to data yeah, through municipalities, also to the extent that is possible in compliance with privacy regulations and GDPR, of course. So I think, having had this very, very comprehensive discussion, and of course this Miro board is available to all of you after the workshop for reference, and it's a very detailed piece of work here, so we have this for reference going forward. Actually, I'd like to invite Eleni. What do you think, having heard all of this discussion today, like regarding the next steps, what stood out for you, I suppose? Yeah, perhaps you can share with us your thoughts here.
Yeah, so real quickly, because it was super interesting today, to be honest, and we heard so many different opinions, and it was really nice, because I think the exchanging of experiences really works well for us, because we have so many vastly different characteristics in different countries, and we can get best practices one out of the other. So for the next engagement cycle, we have discussed it a lot the day before yesterday also, with all the challenges, but now with some opportunities raising from these challenges, I guess what can happen is we can formalize a little bit all the knowledge we gained today. Of course, we will have it also in deliverable 3.3, is it, Daniela, right? With the modules and the finalization of modules, we will have the challenges a little bit addressed there, and also we will have the Miro board available. But I also think that it is of great value to exchange knowledge. What we have to offer is that we have 8 different countries with different characteristics and applicable cases across the country. So we can use the energy box from Croatia everywhere. We can use the what Zrea did with the Energy Poverty Alleviation Office. We can do it in other countries also. We can leverage the stakeholder liaison group. In any case, I think it has been a lot of work, especially for the partners working on the ground, also with COVID, that is for sure a great challenge, but I think we have a nice momentum here with the crisis and everything. So the energy crisis will give us a great momentum. We are trying to get over COVID, so I'm kind of hopeful for the next engagement cycle. KPI-wise, we're fine. We just need to push a little bit the website. We just need to formalize all the KPIs a little bit, but we are getting there. So pretty much it's optimistic and nice. We just need to share knowledge. Yes, Daniela, indeed, I'm like, let's green. So that's from my side.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Eleni. I think with this, we have very much on time, I'd say, reached the end. And for that, I actually would like to hand back to Aitor, who has, of course, started us off this morning very early with the webinar. So Aitor, back to you to give the closing.
Here we are. Yeah, nothing much to add. I think that all the interesting things are well said. You recapped and resumed everything very nicely. So many interesting things, so many important things to discuss about, and hopefully we'll have other opportunities, hopefully physical opportunities, hopefully, and after this kind of events, we could have you here around walking on the hills and showing you the seaside, the beaches here, the streets of the cities, but unfortunately isn't possible. But we will be happy to visit other places as well. And yeah, nothing else to add. Has been really fruitful, and I think we have had a really nice team in the mural board moderating all the sessions and moderating the discussions. So I think the day has been almost perfect. And yeah, just waiting for the next steps for the action in the energy poverty, for the implementation of the actions and the next plenary meetings and workshops. So nothing else from my side. Maybe Chris or someone else wants to add something, if anyone wants.
No, nothing in particular. Like you said, I thought it would have been nice to welcome the team here at in the Basque Country and see you all face to face, but that'll have to wait until a different opportunity. So yeah, thank you for not visiting us, I would say.
Yeah, so that's all for today. Thank you very much and have a nice end of the day, and see you in the mails and in the internet and in the actions. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Goodbye.